Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
James Farley.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
Hello.
We'll start the show this week like we usually start the show with the most important people. They are the Full Nels crew. The Patreon producers this month are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira, and Mad Hans Gruber. What a crew. What a crew.
You know,
The
if one of them
Avengers.
if one of them lapses and then becomes full Nels again a month later, do they go to the bottom of the list or do they get their old placement in the list back?
I think they get their old
That's a
placement
question
back.
for Matt.
I think they're welcome back with open arms.
No, obviously they're welcome back. I don't know what the etiquette is there.
Matt?
No, they will go on the bottom.
They're going to the bottom. They're
oh
going to
dear.
the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So
Don't agree
Aaron
with
Patrick is top dog.
Yeah.
We can't number them. They're all the same.
Yeah,
we
of
can't
course,
number them, can we?
I mean, we can't, but we can certainly put them in order. And Aaron Patrick.
We could certainly do
There's
that.
no hierarchy, but Aaron
privately.
Patrick is the best.
This is basically, far from where is like the longest they have, the order is the longest they have been a full. Other people have been like Patreon supporters longer, but I believe this is like the length of time they've been a full Nels member. It's very exciting.
Well, I'll say this. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy what we do and you want to keep it ad-free, all of that stuff, then please go to patreon.com/TCGS. If you can't stretch to the full Nels tier, then why not? Cancel. Did you complain when Netflix went up £1 a month this month? Yeah? That was weird, wasn't it? Netflix went up £1 a month, right? Everyone seems all right with that. But when Microsoft did it, everyone lost their shit and had to cancel it within a couple of hours of announcing it.
I think Netflix
But anyway,
happens so often. It feels like it happens easily more than once a year. It's like, oh, okay, another one.
does it really? No,
It feels
can't
like
be.
it does.
Right, okay.
only
Well,
we
if
could
you
check.
would like to
No, you can't. There's
Like
no way
to
of checking,
support-
actually, Sean, famously.
go to patreon.com/TCGS, various different tiers. You've got a bonus show tier that you can listen to a cheeky bonus show once a month. You can watch our live talksovers / in the quizzing episodes. And remember, if you sign up for the bonus show, you get the full catalogue of bonus shows that we've put out. So it's well worth doing. It's well worth doing.
David,
should we get on with the
you
show?
said about being ad free.
Yeah.
Just got a question about that. That implies you have a plan for ads on the show. Is that what you're saying?
Possibly.
Oh,
You
no.
don't know what I'm up to.
Well, that
right?
was my concern.
Well, don't be concerned, mate. You mind your own business. I'll steer this ship.
Are you going to be talking about your game as something like, I do love Mario, but what I do also love is Lisa mattresses. Now,
That sounds good. I could sneak it in like that. I'll probably do a better job.
this
Right?
month I'm playing audible.com.
It's a great app. It's a great app.
I like Squarespace. I think it's
All right, James,
very,
fuck off.
Jeez, don't take the piss, mate.
Jesus.
Feedback, Matt. Feedback. Last week's show. They all love it.
Ryan, I've had the worst couple of
What
weeks.
was that noise?
It was me going, kind of.
Oh, okay. All right. It didn't sound like that noise. It sounded like a different noise there, Matt.
Ooh,
but
it
go on.
wasn't that sound. It wasn't that noise. No, it's definitely the... Anyway, Ryan, I've had the worst couple of weeks and I'm lying in bed feeling sorry for myself. Then I realise it's Wednesday. Thank fuck for that. The boys will be on in a minute and all my ailments will disappear for 2 or 3 hours. I fucking love the podcast, guys. Top job and thank you. P.S. Please tell me why you hate Crystal Palace so much.
It's the fans, I think, right,
Yeah,
James?
it's the fans, yeah.
I've heard
It's
they're all
just a-
absolute twats.
Pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
I
it's not
didn't even
getting
follow
involved.
this stuff, but they're just notorious for it, aren't they?
Yeah, no, you don't really know, do you?
No.
Sure. They're the sort of fans that sing no matter what and bring their flags and banners and paint little
Imagine that,
signs and
Sean.
stuff.
Well,
Imagine
people
if I
having
was a fan
fun
doing
and
that.
just enjoying the... Yeah, awful.
Yeah, but no, it's not what you're there to. You go to a football match to watch football. If your team's
Yeah.
doing shit,
Mhm.
you shouldn't be sitting there going, "Come on, we can do this," and then waving your flag and that. Leave off. Let them know. That's my point.
I have
That
a
is
horrible
my point.
feeling.
I mean, they also vandalised their own team bus once as well by accident.
Yeah,
By
that was
accident?
great.
How did that happen?
Oh, they did do that.
They
They
fought into
fought-
oppositions one.
Yeah, they fought a bus in the car park. Was a Middlesbrough's bus, and turns out it was Crystal Palace's best. And then they had Crystal Palace sprayed on the side. I mean, it's like, you know.
Oh, and they
bus.
also bring drums to the games.
Okay.
Sean.
They sound like a decent crew. I think I'm keen to get involved.
I mean,
Let's
do you
not
really
go
want
into-
to become
let's
a
not-
Palace Ultra?
Sure.
Games
Let's
begin.
not go into the history of Millwall fans, though. Let's move on.
Yeah, they're all lovely, aren't they? I think.
Ooh,
I will say this: the boys will be on in a minute. Like, is that? I mean, are we still on Dash Radio? Are they listening on Dash Radio where there's a set time when we're on?
yeah, well, I mean, it is a set time because it comes out same time every week. But yeah, you're right.
All right, man.
Maybe the dash.
Ruin the little bit of light-hearted banter there. That's
I wouldn't call it banter. Miller, regarding the grilled cheese sandwich comments, I have to apologise. Yeah, so I think Miller emailed in last week telling us how to make a grilled cheese sandwich, I think.
No,
Was that
it was
a few
3
weeks ago,
weeks
wasn't it?
ago
Yeah.
there where they said, Miller said, cheese, bread, apply heat, a toasted cheese sandwich, you knuckleheads. I think it was something along those lines.
And we were all a bit.
I've read
confused.
this bit of feedback. It's one of my favourite bits of feedback of all time. So please, Matt, continue.
Okay, Miller, regarding the grilled cheese sandwich comments, I have to apologise. You see, I'm older than James and have 3 children, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. I was rocking my youngest to sleep and listening to the pod. You guys made some comment about cheese sandwich, but I had a couple of drinks and completely forgot what I meant or even sent you something. I was laughing out loud and shocked when I heard my name. You're still knuckleheads, though. Farley forever, bring back Capone.
What a cracking follow-up to that weird message we got that we slated for about 2 weeks on the trot.
Because
What
we
a
get
brilliant way
stuff,
to respond.
you know, because we get stuff like that, and it's just you never hear from them again.
Yeah.
And you,
Yeah.
all the, you know,
Yeah,
and
usually-
it just doesn't really go anywhere, and it's just it's forever a mystery. Whereas this one, case closed.
Yeah, held your hands up. I was very tired. Yeah, we've all been there, mate. Don't worry. We used to call it, do you remember, not so much when Charlie was born, but after Harry was born and then after Isaac was born, we had that phrase, what was it, dad head? Because
Baby
there'd be
brain? No,
times where everyone in our group would wake up in the morning and look at their phones and there'd be like 8 messages from either me or Sean, and none of them made sense. It was all just weird faults, and it was bizarre.
Last week we talked about dream jobs or businesses we could run ourselves.
Oh, family
Kurt Lewin.
businesses, yeah.
Yeah, dream.
Yeah, that's it, family
we
businesses.
did, James. Yeah, Kurt Lewin, Rematch Bakery. I can assure you that working in a bakery, that customers are not chilled. They get remarkably annoyed if you run out of their favourite pork pie or cream cake. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that, but I also thought it would be kind of a chill atmosphere, and you know, I'd be like, look, Trevor, if you're going to kick off about your pie, you can fuck off to Greg's.
That doesn't sound like a chilled atmosphere.
No,
Matt.
that sounds
What you're
somewhat
describing
hostile.
there is not a
If
chilled
someone comes in with their
atmosphere.
attitude, then they're not welcome in my bakery, is what I'm saying.
You have a
So
big
it's
sign
chilled-
outside saying no attitudes.
Yeah.
Or we
There's
just
only
have the
one
word
dude in
attitude
here.
with a cross through it.
Yeah. There's only one dude in here with a real rad dude, and that's me.
This is a chilled out zone unless you've got a fucking complaint.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Does
no,
ever,
I don't.
I can never, like, as a regular Greg's user, or not so much these days, but I mean, all I ever get is sausage rolls, and then I just whatever cake I fancy. I've never had like a set like.
What, are you just showing off now? What is
Right,
it?
Jesus.
What is this?
I do, yeah, I'll buy
Sean,
whatever I want from Greg's.
Can you afford anything? Bloody
Yeah.
hell.
I just say, right, one each of these, please. Thanks.
I will have 2 sausage rolls and a bacon and cheese turnover. Who wants to know about it?
Point is,
Someone's earning.
they've always got sausage rolls. So that's not a problem. That's an easy
Okay.
one. But I can't
afford
imagine being like, oh fucking hell, where's the apple turnovers for fuck's sake? Do you know what I mean? It's just weird.
I can't.
I've never thought about this, Sean. I don't know why you have. It's
No, because Kurt's just told us that people kick off,
okay.
and I'm just like, it just seems strange to me.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I think you just went in a very strange direction to get to that point. Like, your point was, I can't imagine going in for one specific thing and being angry if it's not there.
Yeah,
That
sorry, I
was the
should have
point.
just said that, shouldn't I?
And then he starts
you went,
showing off.
when I go to Greg's, I'll buy any cake I want.
I can afford anything from the top 2
And when they
rows.
offer me, I ask 2 sausage rolls and, do you want a hot drink? With that, it's only an extra 10p. I'm like, no, thank you. I like to spend more on my drinks if possible.
Okay, all right, Sean. Dad head is back. I'm in full force in shore today.
I've been up since 5 a.m.
Yeah, go on next.
Yes. Pazuzu. Yeah. James is absolutely right about the Yakuza series. It's able to be charming and brutal in equal measure, and has some of the funniest sequences in gaming. After getting Yakuza Kiwami for free on PS Plus, I then got Yakuza 0 on sale and ended up binging right through the remaster collection and all the rest. It's a superb series in its own right, but it also reserved a dependable companion. Also served as a dependable companion for his last year plague. I know James is wary of the JRPG aspects, but Yakuza Like a Dragon is excellent too. In light of his budding career as a voice actor, I would very much like to hear James perform his best Kiryu-esque Nanny? Is that
okay?
Is that
I've got
famous?
to get into character.
Yeah, go on.
Hang on.
You're just looking at
I'm
nude
just
women
thinking
in a
about it. I'm
magazine.
just thinking about it.
Looking at a big poster of Kazuma Kiryu.
I've got one of those. Yeah. I keep a picture in my wallet actually, so I can look at the
Massive
man I
wallet.
aspire to be. It's a thing. But yeah,
If you ever feeling a bit rattled during the day, just there he is.
yeah.
You ever get that feeling you don't know when James is joking? I wouldn't put that past him.
Yeah, this
I
isn't
wouldn't
a
put it
joke.
past him. Go on.
Nanny? No, it wasn't very good.
Well, that
Yeah.
sounded really good.
That was great. I
I
didn't
mean,
know
I've
it
not
was
played
you.
the game,
It's brilliant.
but yeah, that was impressive. Go on.
Okay. Well, continue.
Do you want to do another take, or are you happy with that
No,
one?
I'm happy with that one. It's one take and done. I mean, I'm famous for it.
Well, we learned that the other
They
week.
call him
Yeah.
one take Farley, don't they?
Yeah.
In the biz.
One take. I mean, there was something to set the scene, but it doesn't matter. Thank you, Pazuzu, for that. Mike, dear Dr. Farley and assorted hangers-on. In response to the scandalous correspondence last week besmirching the good name of the Yakuza series, I felt it only the right thing to do to correctly imbalance. Are all these about Yakuza? That's my question.
Right.
After listening to yourself talk about Yakuza for the past few years, I finally got around to playing Yakuza 0, and recently I have to say I was blown away. I adored it, and it's very rapidly going to my list of all-time favourite games. Had you not banged on about it incessantly for so long, I'd have likely ignored it, but when I spotted it on the Game Pass list, I thought to myself, Farley is a man of impeachable taste.
Unimpeachable taste.
What?
You said impeachable taste. It's unimpeachable taste.
Well, yeah, good point. Unimpeachable taste, he'd never steer me wrong, and he didn't. Absolutely sublime.
Yeah.
Right, James wrote that then, right?
Yeah, it looks
James
like
wrote that?
Yeah.
He wrote that at the end and said, actually, the email
I
said...
don't think
Unimpeachable.
James would have said unimpeachable taste, because I don't think that's the correct use.
No,
the word, is
I
it?
read that and I was like, this doesn't... It
Should be
doesn't matter.
impeccable, surely. I don't
Yeah,
think you
impeccable
can
would be
impeach
better.
someone's taste.
Yeah, Mike. Jesus.
Poor Mike. He just emailed in
Good
talking about his
opinions
favourite
though.
game.
Good
Listen,
opinions.
Mike, if you're gonna send us stuff, you got to raise your game, mate.
Yeah. Great
But, Mike,
opinions.
all I'll
terrible
say
grammar.
is that I'm glad you enjoy the game. I hope other people enjoy the game. I didn't, and for some reason, James is furious at me for that.
I'm not furious
That's
at you.
just
It's
the
fine.
situation I'm in. James, you threw a chair or something in the background last week when I was talking about it.
It's as I said. It's absolutely fine. I don't care.
Okay, all right.
Go on.
Lots of people
Growth.
like it. Dave hated it. Sean hated it. You know, it's very similar.
Famously despised it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't want to play it.
I'll go back to it. Go on.
Sean Thomas. Hi, TCGS.co.codemall.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with that.
That's
I
good.
thought we'd
I like
had that one before.
We have, but it's
Okay.
all right. I mean, we
It's
should
a good
start a wiki. Was interested to hear your views on the Nintendo Direct last week. They very much echoed mine at the time. Thinking back on it now, though, I wonder if it's a case of the marketing team getting it wrong yet again, and reckon if you carve that content up differently, it could have been pretty good. If you keep Neon White, Famicom Detective Games, Apex Legends, Samurai Warriors 5, Outer Wilds, Fall Guys, and loads of others, etc., for a 10-minute partner direct or another day, then maybe that's not a bad lineup. Especially if you'd also included Star Wars and Tony Hawk's titles that were bizarrely left until 24 hours later to be announced. Then, on
The
another day...
Star Wars one was announced on that, wasn't it?
Yeah. it was,
no,
yeah.
there's a different Star Wars one.
Oh, there's another one.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah. And then on another day,
That's a bit
announced a mini
smart.
direct to focus on the Smash DLC, Mario Golf, Project Triangle, and announced the start of the year of Zelda's 35th celebrations once Mario ends in March, announcing they'll be back with an update soon, but for now, there's Hyrule Warriors DLC, Skyward Sword HD kicking the season off. And then, end of a reminder, there's a Pokemon Snap, Bravely Default 2, and Monster Hunter Rise all out in the next 2 months before closing with a Splatoon 3 reveal. I guess it's so irksome when you know that they're capable of, or what they're capable of, but you're getting the C-tier output. It's doubly baffling that they're making decisions to do DLC on the content-burdened Hyrule Warriors or put a 12th Fire Emblem character in Smash, but not dropping 4 new tracks on Mario Kart 8 or New World in Odyssey every year. I also don't get why they don't test out a remaster of F-Zero GX with online multiplayer to test the waters. But I guess I'll start reminding us that Breath of the Wild sold more than Mario title ever put. Explain that one. I don't get it.
Okay. That's a very good point. I do think that, it felt more like a partners direct than an actual Nintendo one, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, I didn't think of that at the time, but you're absolutely right. But you don't know what deals were being made. Maybe there was some sort of deal to ensure that they were going to be on a proper Nintendo Direct and not a partner one or whatever. I don't know. All I know is that I just felt completely flat coming out of it. But, it would appear that might be a running theme for all presentations in 2021.
Possible,
Don't know what year it is. Yeah, it's not looking good, but we'll come to the PlayStation one later.
Just carry on, and I butchered that line, but I'll fix it now. But I guess the stat reminding us that Breath of the Wild sold more than every Metroid title ever put together explains that one. It seems baffling to me that in 2020s, Nintendo only seemed capable of developing one large single-player adventure game every 5 to 10 years. Is that true? I'd hoped their collaborations of Cadence of Hyrule, Starlink, Mario & Rabbids might have seen other studios be trusted to revitalise Pilot Wings, Wave Race, F-Zero, etc. But I guess not. Anyway, back to Direct. I guess if it framed the way H1 2021 for third-party support and Nintendo exclusives look alright, given COVID delays and what's in development longer term, but they dropped a ball, much like Sony did this week, in how they framed the year ahead. Enjoy the Animal Crossing DLC.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true. It just seems baffling to me that in the 2020s, Nintendo only seemed capable of developing one large single-player adventure game every 5 to 10 years.
I mean, if we're
what are their
including
single-player adventure games?
Well, they've had Mario
Breath
Odyssey.
of the Wild.
Yeah, I was going to say Odyssey.
And
Surely.
Odyssey.
Breath
Yeah,
of the Wild.
Odyssey and Mario came out in the same year.
Yeah.
Odyssey and Mario.
Oh, Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Do you reckon lockdown's gone on too long this time?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, if you're looking on average over those 10 years, then you might be right. But
I mean, I would also be keen to see more collaborations. Like, as he says, there've been loads of like genuinely really good ones now at this point. I mean, obviously Hyrule Warriors is technically a collaboration. I mean, I don't know if Starlink counts. That was just putting Vodka Cloud in another game. But yeah, like it'd be like, especially after Cadence of Hyrule. Not that I've played it, but I gather it's very good. Like it would be amazing to just see like more indies like trusted with Nintendo properties. Obviously, with a very watchful eye over them, I imagine. But that would be a really interesting way of like if Nintendo haven't got the resources, which it seems they haven't, to just keep churning this stuff out, then why not go to other developers?
Because they got to be very careful.
Yeah.
The more they do that, the more shit games with Mario's face on it is going to come out, you know what I mean? And they can't be having that.
The more thing about Cadence of Hyrule... So, sorry, James, what are you saying?
It was very good, Cadence of Hyrule. It was great.
Yeah,
game.
I really enjoyed it. But the more I think about that and like what you're saying there, Sean, it feels more like they basically built it and say, look, Nintendo, this is a great idea. Like, we're pitching this to you. And Nintendo like, oh, yeah, go on then. But it feels almost like if someone goes to them with an idea, they might greenlight it. Whereas them actually going out their way and saying, how about this? Like, they don't need to do that because they've got games that sell millions without having to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also mentioned this lineup over the next 6 months, which doesn't sound so bad. So I'm not going to go through all the dates. So basically, from February 26th all the way until back end of the year, we've got Bravely Default 2, Smash Xenoblade DLC, if you're into that, Monster Hunter Rise, Pokemon Snap, Miitopia, Mario Golf, Skyward Sword, and No More Heroes. And that's all between now and August.
That still doesn't look good. Like, sorry,
No, it
but
doesn't.
you look at that
It
list and I
doesn't.
just think that doesn't look a good list.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I mean, when you've got to put Metopia in there to bulk it out a bit, it's not exactly going to hit home, is it? Mario Golf, take or leave.
Oh,
Smash
yeah,
DLC.
that's more than we know from Xbox and PlayStation right now.
True. Yeah, I'm also worried about those two, though. So it's not like, I'm worried about those two companies. So, right. Well,
Okay.
we're supposed to be getting Halo finally, aren't we?
But
this
yeah,
year?
the difference is though is that with Sony and Microsoft, you're also definitely going to get some like third party stuff, which will be like good. You know, like sort
Well,
of big.
hold on. You'll definitely get third party and
definitely
indie
loads of
stuff
indies.
on the Switch.
Not in the same way though. It's not quite the same as it is on like Xbox and PlayStation. It really isn't like on Nintendo stuff.
You mean because there's no
I guess
larger
you're
games
right.
like Assassin's Creed, FIFA?
Yeah, no,
that
I
kind of
guess
thing.
you're right, but I guarantee we'll have an indie game that we've played on the Switch in our Game of the Year list at the end of the year. It seems
which
to
has
happen
probably
every year.
already come out on PC 2 years earlier or something like that.
Yeah, we've changed the rule now. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Right, is that
Nigel
it for the feedback?
Coltrane. Frankly, Dr.
Ooh.
Farley, I'm appalled by the fact that you did not mention Dexter Fletcher's work with the avant-garde film director Derek Jarman. As a scholar of history, British cinema of the 1980s is surely a blind spot that needs addressing.
I'm going to have to do a pinned tweet about this, aren't I?
Go on.
You have to replace the Star Wars one.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, is that it? That's all your comment. Okay, fine.
Adam Littlefield. Hi, I'm the guy with the parkour contact, and I was thinking during last week's. That's a great way to
Not this
start
still.
an email, isn't it? It says, especially someone who's just started the episode, the podcast this week. Like, I'm the guy with the during last week's brilliant but hair-obsessed show, why not combine James doing parkour with James wearing a nice wig? I think James could do a lot for the bald parkour community if he jumps up and down on a bench without a wig. Of course I do. But the image of him scaling a wheelie bin, then leaping from it onto another wheelie bin works best in my head if he also has a fine head of fake human hair and maybe a cape. Please, James, there are many bald men in East Kent who need this right now. Well, would doubtless help with your game acting career too, Sizzle O'Clock.
It's a good idea. Although you'd have to be careful it didn't like get in your eyes during a deadly manoeuvre.
Yeah.
You'll end up
I've not been
doing
used to
a
that for many years. So that,
yeah,
But is
could
it
do
one of
a
those
daring
things, though,
leap
where
between two
he-
buildings and just
Yeah,
absolutely
but where he
trip on it.
leaps up and then the wig goes up into the air,
Yeah.
and then as he lands, the wig then falls down on his head.
That
That would be
sounds great.
that's Britain's Got Talent material, isn't it?
can I
priceless.
choose the colour and also like the style or not?
Absolutely.
course.
What are you going for?
Yeah.
Probably something similar to what I had in FIFA, Dave. I think.
What, blue and down shoulder length blue hair?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
What is your obsession with blue hair? Like
He's a rebel. It's just a natural
that's-
born rebel. Dave.
Also, I should highlight this, right? A lot of you don't know what we look like. You don't follow us on social media or watch our streams and stuff like that, right? I should explain this. We did a live talksover. No, we did. Yeah, it was at the of the PlayStation event, and I looked at James and I thought, for the past few episodes, you've been going on about, yeah, guys, yeah, us bald guys, the three bald guys on the show. We hate you, David, with hair, and you had hair.
I know,
So
but it's not consistent hair though. It's
not consistent.
Yeah, it's got the
hair.
sunroof.
It's
I'm sorry, James. You had enough hair there to not be able to call yourself bald. Matt must have been fuming when he saw you.
Yeah, livid.
James, you can't give it that I'm bald. You can't join their crew when you've clearly got hair.
But I am at the back. It's at the back that the problem is. It's like the front, I can kind of get away with it, but then you can.
Where's the problem for you, Matt?
Front and back.
Yeah, okay, right. So are you offended that James tries to pretend that he's in your crew?
Yes, he's not a full
Yeah.
slaphead. It's like people who have a full head of hair and they still choose to shave it. It's like, that's a personal attack. You're not one of us. Stop. You could grow any hair you want, you idiot, and then you're shaving it. This is not a choice. This is. Anyway.
Matt, don't get angry at people with hair. That you're aiming the gun at the wrong people there.
Who's
the
showing
people
it?
that are going like
jeans.
Yeah, no, definitely at James. Oh yeah, I struggle with my hair, man. And then he's sitting there, he's like combing it.
It's
he's
going
swooshing
terribly
it
on the
around
top as
on
well
the stream.
now. Like the
Is
front
it?
is
Just
All
shave
right.
disappearing.
Well, when you get there,
I
yeah,
have
shave
done.
it off. Go on,
Properly.
then. What now?
No, not right now. I'm not doing it on the show.
Do it on the
Can
next
you-
talks over.
I was going to say, can you shave it live on stream?
That would be good.
No, I'm not doing that.
People watch that
Oh, go on.
Yeah.
while playing Hitman,
Yeah.
and then you could draw
In the suit.
you could draw a little barcode on the back of your head.
Just a little marker. Just
What a stream that'd be!
Yeah,
That'd
so
be good,
instead of
wouldn't
like a 10-minute countdown, just do like the 10-minute countdown is you getting ready, shaving your head, and but also you have to have the barcode on the front because people won't see it at the back.
Yeah.
So you have the barcode at the front, and then get the
you
suit
put-
on,
no,
and
you
you're
put a
like,
mirror
and now the
behind
stream
him.
starts.
Put a mirror behind him. You can see the back of his head while he's playing. Or do a multicam thing. Yeah, come on.
I could,
right,
I could wear
okay.
the suit and everything, couldn't I, with the red
Yeah.
tie?
Yeah.
And then,
James, just shave your head.
Okay.
Not doing that.
Coward.
All right.
That's
you
it
know
for
why?
feedback.
You know why you're not doing that, James? Because you don't want your hair to go.
Exactly.
So,
I'm
you're
still
not
clinging
bald.
on to what I've got left.
You're not bald.
Don't
so
cling
don't
on.
try it on.
Embrace.
Don't try it.
Yeah.
You're one of my crew with your lovely locks. Right, okay.
Can I stop
Luscious
talking about
locks.
it? That's it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback, go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
Right, let's roll straight into the news then. Fully headed hair man, James Farley, with the news. Let's go.
So, there was a PlayStation State of Play last week, and we talked
There was.
over it, but I
We
thought
did.
we could probably go through what we saw.
Oh, joy.
I've got a list in the doc as well, so you can
Oh, yeah.
see which ones we've got. So, I'll go through this in order because I know you love that. That's like the way I know things have to be done.
chronological order, I hope.
Yeah,
That list is way shorter than I thought it would
I
be.
was going to say, is that it?
that is it.
no,
Yeah, That is
Wow.
it. According to Eurogamer, that is it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anyway, there may be another, so I can't remember. So the first one was
Great.
was
Great
report.
It
journalism.
might not be it. Yeah, that's it. That's all there is. There might be
That's-
others.
As far as I know. That's
the
it.
listeners will notice if I've missed anything.
That's what
Well,
that's
no,
what happened there,
James,
Sean.
because listeners might listen to us for the news.
Yeah, they're relying on you to inform them.
That's what happened there, Sean. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've noticed, but that's what happened there. He said, yes, no, this was all that was announced. This is the list. Then he had it in the back of his head. I'm going to get so many emails if I miss something off. So I'm going to say there's probably more, but I've forgotten. I'm just going to sneak that in
Just
there to
cover it,
cover
yeah.
myself.
Just cover your
cover
arse.
myself in the feedback
Exactly.
next week.
You have to do
definitely.
that. Always have to do that.
Go on.
First thing was Crash 4. They showed off
Okay.
some DLC stuff and like PS5 version and all that.
Fine.
Yeah, no one cares. No, should we move
No.
on?
But wasn't
no.
it? But really, was it? It's meant to be really good, wasn't it? Is this
I don't know.
no? This is the one that hasn't come out. I've no idea where we're up to with Crash these days.
Yeah, no, Crash 4 came out. I'm
Right.
pretty sure it did.
right.
And
yeah, and
this was
apparently
just
it
an
was actually
upgrade,
well good.
wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah, I'm sure
I
I
heard it
saw
wasn't
review.
great.
Okay. Well, we'll never know. What's next?
None of us have played it.
I heard it was good.
What
and
a
if you like the
podcast.
originals, it's more the same, and they have managed to do some modern things with it. But I
Okay.
think if you're not a Crash
I
fan,
should
it's probably
highlight
good
we've
enough.
changed what you've been playing for future episodes to what have you heard about games
Well,
that you haven't played.
85% on Metacritic, so probably it was not bad.
Okay,
Well,
yeah,
there you go.
James's new
Solid
favourite
gold.
way of judging games.
Yeah.
Go on.
Then we had Returnal.
Returnal looks good, doesn't it?
It looks very nice. I think. Yeah,
It looks
I'm
good.
very interested in the in what it's doing potentially with you actually going into the real world after the horrible, nasty world. So is it a roguelike? It feels like they were saying that when you die, enemies will go in different places and things will change.
I don't know, it just looked good. The shooting looked good. The
Yeah, that as well.
graphics, Matt.
Yeah,
The
they're very
graphics.
nice. Yeah.
It looked good, but 70 quid. I still don't think it looked that good, for that
Well,
sort of
because
price.
of that is
They've
70
not
quid.
confirmed the prices, though, right?
It will be 70 quid. There's no way
Why,
it won't
what
be.
makes you say that?
Well, because everything is now, isn't it? Like, all their first-party stuff is like that.
No, it's not.
Okay, what isn't, Dave?
Go on the store. It's not.
Is it not?
No.
He says it's
Is
not.
the,
Yep. Who are you gonna
What
believe,
does it
James?
say? Does it? You open up the page and it just says, this is not 70 quid.
It says it's not.
How much
Price,
is it?
it's
I'll
not.
tell you how much it isn't. It's
Price, it's not.
Go onto the store. You see that they're not all 70 quid because I was looking myself the other day and I was quite surprised by the amount of them that aren't £70. And you had, what is it? Even like, look at what happened to Destruction All Stars. Is that coming out for 20 quid? Is that a news story
Yeah,
I've read?
it's not. Don't worry, we're not talking about that because it's boring.
Yeah, why is
But,
that a news story?
Because it's boring,
Well,
man.
because it's boring. Yeah, I'm with James on that. But yeah, that's coming out
last
for
week we
20.
were like, I wonder what that happened price wise.
It's true. It's
and then
true.
this week we were like, it's not news.
Well, that's boring. Isn't it?
I know, but we do all vet the news stories before we record the episode, so it's not fair to.
You could have thrown that in, Matt, if you
No,
felt very
because if I
strongly
did,
about it.
on the show, you'd be like, this is what Matt added.
It's true. You did get that.
Can't win.
But no. What I'm saying is that I wouldn't be surprised if that. I'm not necessarily saying Returnal won't come out for £70, and even so, why are you judging its value based on one trailer? Like, where's that? What?
No, I'm just
that's
saying.
exactly what you did.
No, I'm saying it looks like the kind of game that I would enjoy, but not for £70. And
Right,
it is £70 on Amazon.
Right, okay, so how are you not judging the game's worth on one trailer? Because what you've said there is...
It's not one trailer. We've seen several trailers, Dave.
Okay, several trailers. So those several trailers...
It's generally how you make like a buying decision, isn't it? By like looking at what you're seeing and then you decide if you're going to buy it or not.
You need to know a little bit more information, though, wouldn't you? Like how long it is, how involved it is,
I would say
what
that
the
so
scores
far,
are, review scores and stuff.
Well, I'd say so far from what we've seen, I wouldn't pay £70 for it.
Okay, all right.
Am I allowed
they've got
to
some
make that decision
convincing to do,
I've
haven't
got,
they? They've got
a little bit of an
convincing
update on
to
this.
do.
It does
Go on.
definitely cost £70.
Yeah.
Housemarque have already commented on that. They say that they're doing their half of the value proposition. Here's the quote. Now, of course, a new console generation and a next-gen title. So here's things that come along with that. But as long as we're fulfilling our part of it and we're making the best game possible, then we're doing our half of the value proposition in that regard.
Okay,
It's a much
see
larger
when that
endeavour
comes
than
out.
our previous portfolio. £70.
I mean, yeah, because
We'll see
you said you were sure that it wasn't going to be. I mean, I just had a look on the PlayStation Store and it's £70.
Okay, all right, fine. So I got that wrong, but I still maintain that you can't really judge whether it's what it's worth until
Well, I think
we
I
know
can
a little
judge
bit more about it.
up to this point whether I feel like I'd want to spend £70 on it or not.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And that you can't be wavered. That opinion can't be changed.
It may be if it gets amazing scores and turns out to be very good. But we'll see.
Also, are you going for the news segment now? Is that what's happening?
I'm just
I mean,
here
you've done
with
live
a
reporting
relevant
there.
story if needed.
You've done live reporting. You're suggesting news stories. I think
He's always
Matt's
doing
going
that.
for the news segment.
I'm always trying to add context and information to the news section. Bloody hell.
Go on then. Let's see what was next.
Knockout City.
This was funny because it was announced on the Nintendo one a couple of weeks before, wasn't it?
Oh, this was a bit more in depth though, wasn't it? I saw a bit of this.
Yeah,
It looks all right.
I think it looks all right. I mean, this is definitely the sort of game that you have to wait until it comes out before you judge whether you're going to jump in or not. I think, this has the potential to be total rubbish, but also absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, James is already... You're not too keen, are you?
No, not massively, no. Seeing it on this didn't look amazing either. And it was quite interesting because when we watched it, you seemed to have like calmed down on it as well. Because like the first time when we saw it on the Nintendo one, you were like you seemed really excited for it, and this time you seemed a bit less excited.
Well, I just said during the Nintendo one, you just went, oh, fucking not another one of these. And I was pointing out that actually a dodgeball game is not a regular occurrence.
No, but
and this looks a little
I
bit
was
different.
talking about the visual style and the whole thing.
Okay.
A game.
Okay. This time, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's one of those games that's a little bit bizarre. It could be Rocket League or Overwatch. It could be
Rocket
Destruction
Arena.
All Stars, Rocket Arena. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm keeping an eye on it anyway. I'm certainly going to be interested in what it's like when it comes out for sure.
Yeah. Then we had Sifu was the next one.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, say that
Sorry,
again.
cut out then. What did you say?
Sifu.
I love it. What
I
was
mean,
this one?
I
don't
should
remember
point
this.
out James is probably pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, but not 100%. Just sounds
I
funny.
have no
We're
doubt
allowed to
about
laugh at
that.
that.
Sure,
Right,
definitely.
Okay. What was this one again, James?
So this was. It looked like it was a beast map, wasn't it? It looked like it was like a single.
Oh, that's
player,
right. Yeah,
beast
odd.
map.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, obviously people were shouting the bouncer when they saw it. But yeah, it's like a 3D beat 'em up that seemed very stylized. It certainly didn't look like a next gen game, did it?
Well, it was weird, wasn't it? It was 3D, but it was very sort of fixed perspective. So it looks like sort of like segments of it might be sort of 2D-ish, but then it was sort of panning around.
Yeah, a little bit like that Die Hard trilogy game. Do you remember when that came out?
Yeah.
And it was 3 different types of games, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of them was a beat 'em up, and
Racing
one of them,
game, shooting game.
The camera was zooming into fixed perspective.
Well, it was
people
interesting
running
because
down the
obviously
corridor beating people up.
Yeah, but bits of it looked like that scene from Old Boy, which obviously in turn was aping 2D beat 'em ups, which is sort of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll be interested to see how this develops, but I mean, it wasn't the most inspiring trailer in my opinion.
See, I don't know. See, I quite like this one, but it all depends on the fighting system and whether how it feels. You know, to play,
Well, it's by the devs who did Absolver, which was pretty good. So I'm keen.
Right, okay. Yeah, what was next, James?
Solar Ash was the next one. I mean, this is the one that when we saw this, we were like, why is Sean not on this stream? Because
well, do you know, so obviously this is by Heart Machine, who made Hyperlight Drifter, which is one of my favourite games of all time. However, if I didn't know it was them making this, I don't know, I'm still not like massively... I don't know, it looked fine. But I'm just not, I don't know, like, when you compare, like, so the initial trailer for Hyperlight Drifter is still probably one of my favourite game trailers of all time. Whereas, I don't know, this just looked like a pretty good 3D platformer. Am I being miserable? Did you guys really like it?
not particularly.
No, I mean, it didn't jump out at us. That's why we were like, I wish Sean was here.
No, I would not have helped, I don't think.
I know, but we were at least, if you'd have been there, you could have talked about Hyperlight Drifter instead.
That's true.
And, yeah.
I'd have gone, look, we'll turn this off. We'll put the first trailer for Hyperlight Drifter on instead. Fuck the state of play thing. Yeah, I'm sure it will be good, and I'm just being a dick. It's just, yeah, don't know.
Okay.
Then we had Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Okay, next.
I've never cared about these games.
So
then Oddworld Soulstorm.
Nah.
I don't know what it is about this game, but I do kind of like the look of it. We'll see. But the big announcement was that this is coming straight to PS Plus, right?
Yeah, it's
okay.
me included.
So we'll play it.
We will.
Free, innit?
Yeah, as I said on the stream, the old world games have never done anything for me, and this one does not look like it's going to change my mind. So,
why not? Because when I saw that trailer, I saw, I got vibes of Inside and that sort. It's a 2D side-scrolling puzzle game that looks really nice in places. Some of the stuff they're doing in the background and the way they're messing with the 3D visuals alongside the 2D gameplay, I thought that looked really nice. But
I just don't like the character design. I've never have done with Oddworld games.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, the character design has never been great, but you can push through that if the game's good, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really played any of them because they just haven't appealed.
Okay.
Harsh.
Next.
Fucking hell, look, this is the feeling. The mood is sapping out of the room. Like, it's...
Right, well, should we
talk about Greg's cakes again? Let's get everyone going.
Yeah,
come on, we got some cracking news stories to come, so let's just get through this.
To be fair.
So we got Kenna Bridge of Spirits. This was Horizon Zero Dawn, but with it looked different.
See, this did nothing for me either.
I think it looks nice.
It does look nice.
We were all quite high on this. It looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, I'm not quite sure what's doing it, but I think it looks nice graphically, and it looks just very pleasant to be in. So we'll see what the gameplay is like. That's what I'm saying.
Then Deathloop, which still looks great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it does.
Cannot wait for this. It looks fantastic in every
I just love the
sense.
style of it. I love the tone of it. Did you watch the video of it? It's sort of explaining the idea behind the game today.
Oh, no, not seen that.
Yeah, they released an idea. So, some people might not want to hear this. They might consider it a bit of a spoiler, but I don't think it is. So the idea there's either, I think it's 8 main enemies in the game. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that you have to go and assassinate all 8 in a single day to complete the game, right? You have been sent to this island that's constantly on a 1-day loop. And I think the idea is if you assassinate all the targets, then the loop ends in that island. But all targets are trying to extend the loop for various different reasons. And the idea is that you repeat the same day over and over again, and you learn more and more about your targets and work out ways to try and draw them together in certain times and certain places to try and pick them off. So it makes it easier to take them all out in a single day or whatever. But at the same time, there is another assassin on the island who's also trying to take them all out and is also trying to take you out as well. So apparently, all the little concepts. It was the trailer was great, right? Because it was someone that was working on the game, one of the devs, just basically going, look, hear us out, right? Just listen. And by the end of it, you were like, I kind of get an idea of what this game is now, and I really like it. I really like the idea. And of course, yeah, the style, the music, the way they're promoting it and everything just makes it look so good. So yeah, Deathloop's definitely one to look out for this year, I think.
Okay. Although there is that whole thing, wasn't there, about, are we just going to wait until it comes out on Game Pass in 6 months' time or whatever?
Probably, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Is this not PlayStation exclusive? I thought it was.
It's timed,
it is,
isn't it, I think?
Yeah,
for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It depends how long they've paid for.
I mean, if it gets good reviews, I'm probably not going to wait 6 months.
I'll
just
probably
to
get
play
it on
for free
PC as well.
So
Yeah, it's true. I've got a feeling it's going to be a dry year, so getting any game as soon as possible is going to be the way to go, I think.
oh yeah.
Okay, and then they finished up with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which was...
You guys were really down on this, weren't you?
I think we
Really?
all were, Dave.
I thought this looked good. If you like Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Yeah, when they were showing the comparisons with the graphics or whatever, I thought, yeah, no, it doesn't look too bad. They're doing a lot of stuff with lighting and stuff, but I mean, James in particular was like, looks the same.
It doesn't look massively upgraded, does it? It's like...
I didn't think the visual difference was huge, but
I thought the lighting looked really good.
I'm intrigued by the idea of, because obviously, Final Fantasy VII Remake is odd because it's changing things and it's expanding on certain things. So to then be like, oh, by the way, here's also some DLC of other events that took place at the same time that we previously knew nothing about. It's weird, isn't it? Because it's sort of turning the Final Fantasy VII Remake into kind of its own platform in a sense.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean, the controversy about this came out later in the week, didn't it? Is that on the list, James?
Yeah, well, this is where it's going to be on PS Plus, isn't it? Like, they're including it on PS Plus, but you don't get the upgrade to PS5 if you get that version. So it's weird.
Yeah, the caveat is that you don't get the upgrade, and there was a lot of people angry about that. I don't see why, really. It's a free version of the game along with your subscription. So, yes, not free, but you could see why they would limit it in some way. The only thing is that the thing people are worried about is if you buy a game on PS Plus and then want to buy the full game so that you can upgrade it, will the shop let you do that? Because usually when you get a game on PS Plus, you own it and then that's it. I can only assume that there's a PS Plus version which is separate to the the main game on that shop.
That's a perfect world for Sony. They want people to have got the game already, but they're like, well, let's at least allow them to buy the game again just to get the extra $10 DLC bit.
I think that is the case, because I was reading somebody on Romuck today who was talking about how they bought the stuff, like with the collection that you get, the PS4 collection, and they'd done that, and then they went to download one of the games from that, but they downloaded the wrong one or something and got charged again for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Last Guardian. Yeah,
yeah, and so there must be different versions. From that.
Yeah, I think that's the way they're going. Which is confusing for you because you know how the background stuff works with Sony. Everything's linked to each listing. So bringing saves forward and all that sort of shit is a complete pain in the arse. Because the back end of how they run things. That you do worry that there's going to be some hiccups here and there the more they do this stuff. But, I think if you want to play Final Fantasy VII, don't worry about upgrading it to the PS5 version. You're getting it for free. I won't worry about it.
I'll have a great time with the PS4 version.
Opening 10 hours, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Did we? I know that this wasn't part of the presentation. Can we briefly talk about the mobile one?
Yes, I really want to bring that up. But just covering that note, I think Integrate, I can't wait to play more of that. So I think I can just pay the $10 and upgrade with the version I've got to get the extra DLC, which I'm definitely going to do because, I want more Final Fantasy VII. But yeah, as Sean said, they also made a bunch of other Final Fantasy VII announcements, didn't they, in the week?
Okay.
So they did... Sorry, go on. What did you say, James?
I said, great, tell us about them.
So I forget what it's called, but yeah, so we're getting this sort of mobile remake of Final Fantasy VII, which is not the same as the PlayStation one, obviously, but it's also not the same as the original. It's its own thing and also encompasses like the stories from all the Final Fantasy VII spin-offs, so like Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus and stuff. This is nuts. Absolutely
this
nuts.
is called Ever Crisis.
That's it,
it's remade, but it's got like, but the battle. I think, well, from the video at least, like the battles look a little bit more like the remake we just had on PS4.
Yeah. It seems to be in the mold of, because they did Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, which was which was like the entirety of Final Fantasy 15, but made into a apparently pretty good mobile game, which eventually made it to Switch as well. And I believe some people actually prefer it to the proper Final Fantasy 15. So yeah, I'm well intrigued by this.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I obviously loved Remake, and part of me would love to play the other versions of Final Fantasy VII, so I can progress further than where the remake takes you, so I understand the story and see more about that world. But then I've got it on Xbox on Game Pass, and I'm just, I've tried little bits here and there, but it doesn't really do enough to draw me in. But this trailer, I'm like, well, hang on, this could be a way for me to play Final Fantasy VII, for the whole lot. It looks great, and it's got some elements from the remake I love. So the only shame is this isn't coming out till 2022. So it's ages away, but I'm really intrigued with this when it does eventually come out for iOS and Android.
I mean, God knows how many years it'll be until Remake Part 2. So
well, that's the thing,
you'll probably still get this first, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Then also, we had some other kind of bad news which came... I mean, this came before the State of Play, didn't it? Which is the winding down of the Sony Japan Studio. So this is the one that we're involved in, like Knack, Patapon, Ape Escape, and Gravity Rush and stuff like that. And apparently the vast majority of the staff have been let go. And they were the oldest first-party developer for Sony, and because they were established in 1993. And it's a shame, because they also collaborated with lots of other external developers, with like Bloodborne and Shadow of the Colossus and Demon's Souls.
Yeah, that's the big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They did a lot of stuff with other devs to get their games up to scratch. And I think, that would be the biggest loss. And also very strange. You'd think that in a world where Microsoft are trying to drive down video game, the values of video games, and Sony seem to want to be the sort of beacon for exclusive, high budget, very distinct style games on their system. You'd think shutting studio down would be the wrong way to go, but
this is where there seems to be the conflict, though, because the thing is it seems there does seem to be a bit of a conflict between like Sony Japan and Sony of America, and Sony of America seem to be winning at the moment with this, because their idea is that they want to create like sort of global hits, which like things like Last of Us and stuff like that. Whereas Sony Japan wanted to, work on Japanese games that would then be for that market, and then would then, appeal to the rest of the world.
But that's mad, though, because, like,
not both?
Bloodborne.
Why not both?
Yeah, like, so the Colossus, like, there's clearly plenty, like, obviously, like a lot of the things they've made, so like Patapon, Gravity Rush, stuff like that, have, they have travelled to the West, but maybe not as well as they would have liked. But there's definitely those, those like key AAA ones that have been like worldwide successes. So I don't know. I think that there must be like internal stuff going on here that we're not privy to, because from an external point of view, this makes no sense to me.
I mean, the team, a lot of them are moving over to the Asobi team who did the Astrobot games. So that's going to happen. So those still are going ahead. I mean, according to Eurogamer, they said that the last solo effort that they had was Knack 2 in 2017. So
which isn't a
I suppose so
one to have it.
They
but then,
mostly
as I said,
collaborate,
it's the work they've done on other games as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that can't just be forgotten.
Well, this is it, because we don't know, like, the precise relationship, in how in terms of how they worked with other devs. It's like I'm looking at this like, well, does that mean no Bloodborne 2 then, or are From completely free to do that themselves if they want? Or I have no idea.
I mean, this is really disappointing, though, because one of the things which, when I first got the PS4, like ages ago, one of the things I enjoyed the most was going back and playing a lot of those sorts of games. Same things that you couldn't really get on Xbox because they were from like Japanese studios and everything, that were often smaller games, maybe less successful or whatever, but they were still, I found them really interesting and often like artistic and just, kind of great. And I don't like the idea of Sony just going in the direction of like we've got to everything has to be like Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us and stuff like that. I don't want just that.
I've noticed more and more comments in places that are saying, "Oh, it's a PlayStation style game," and what that means is either
it's an open
linear
world
cinematic adventure like Uncharted, or an open world game like Ghost of Tsushima. And
I don't want that.
Yeah,
as being their own focus.
But those games are great.
Yeah.
But what you don't want to do is for that to become stale and that to be what you're associated with, because Sony were never that, right? Sony were never associated. There's always been a feeling to a game that has felt like a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
But I would say that they were really varied. I mean, Microsoft were very much known as the shooters console at one point. You've got Nintendo. They've got their own style, but again, so many different styles within that style, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. But Sony don't want to fall into that trap of, because their next big game is one of those PlayStation games. The comments that people are making recently about their style of games. We've got Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
And are people going to look at that and go, yeah, it's an open world game? Yeah, I mean, it's going to look great or whatever, but it's an open world game where you're unlocking bits of the map and traveling.
I also want stuff like Loco Roco and stuff like that, just interesting things. It's the other thing. But, it's a shame if that's the way they're going.
Hopefully that doesn't go away. Maybe there's another reason behind this, and we'll still get
I think they
like
probably
that.
think, well, the indies are covering that weird side, and so they probably feel like they don't need to do it themselves, and they can focus on the cinematic.
But you get a level of polish, though, don't you? Which, with some of these.
And again, it's that identity thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like them putting their badge on some of those weird releases.
Yeah.
I think it's quite important, but... Yeah, very strange.
We'll have to see what the future
sad,
holds then.
And
Okay, the other thing that happened we've got a lot, just too much Sony stuff this week, but they also had the PSVR 2 was announced, kind of, on their blog.
How disappointing was this announcement?
Weird, wasn't it? I mean, it's not coming until until probably next year, if that. But I mean, basically, it was an announcement on the blog where they just said that they're working on like another VR unit that's going to have like better resolution, better field of view, and tracking and all that kind of stuff, and that also it would be connected by a single cord, which is I know that's good in a way because that means it's less complicated, but also it would have been really good if this was not if this was something maybe a bit different. With maybe like the Oculus.
I mean, like, I was going to say, like, the fact that if they're bringing it out next year and it's still got a fucking cable attached to it, it's already going to feel a bit dated compared to a headset that you could, a standalone headset that you can get for £300.
Unless it's cheap and it's also like the PS5 is helping it push like significantly better visuals. That's the only thing.
I don't think that. I don't think that helps.
You don't think so?
I don't think that helps. I think the PSVR was successful because it broke through that ultra nerdy, I want to get a VR headset crowd. And I know families that bought it because they'd tried it and thought, this is fun. They wouldn't dream of getting an Oculus or a Valve headset or whatever. But I guarantee those headsets are now in a drawer somewhere or in a bag under the stairs like the Wii was. And when the new one comes out in a few years, if they've got a PS5, are they going to go, yeah, let's get back into VR again? Or are they going to look at the one that's under their cupboard and go, wow, that was fun for a couple of months, but
David,
never really went for it, did we?
Are you saying this is Sony's Wii U? That's what this is?
No, I don't know. I don't think it would. I think it would be great. I think it would be a great bit of kit. And certainly, with if they were able to use what they were able to put on the PS4 with on VR with those controllers was incredible, really, when you think about it. Considering how underpowered the PS4 was compared to current consoles, and then considering how limited the Move controllers were, it's pretty impressive what they did with that. What I'm saying is that if they want this to sell in similar numbers, then attaching it to the PS5 with a cable, I think, is the wrong way of going about it. Yeah. I think if it was a standalone headset that had the quality of the games that they put out on the PS4, but you didn't have to have a PS5 to own it, and you could just put it on anywhere and not worry about wires and stuff, I think it would have done quite well.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's that's very similar to what the PSVR was on the PS4, I kind of think it's a misstep.
See,
I could eat my words. Who knows?
If it was standalone and also had complete compatibility with the existing VR library, I think that could be a seller because
that'd be massive.
There's a lot of really good games like on PSVR, and there's enough there that you could base it around that. I mean, I'd have liked it if it was similar to the Quest in the sense that you can use it wirelessly or whatever on its own, but then you could also connect it for a boost or whatever to
fine, but just I wonder. We all knew that VR was early, right? And that these were sort of tester headsets, and there's no doubt that VR will become a thing at some point, in my opinion. But I'm surprised that Sony have gone down this route. I'm very surprised that Sony have gone down this route. When you look at the success of things like the Oculus Quest, you do kind of think, why have they decided to do what they did last time?
Do you know what this feels like? This feels a bit like Kinect, in the sense that the original Kinect for 360 did incredibly well, because it came at exactly the right time, and everyone bought into it. It was a big success. But then when it came to the Xbox One, it's like people were kind of done with it by that point, and there wasn't enough support for it, and
it was better, but only marginally so.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm just concerned this may go the same way. It may just.
Now and then I think about that original Kinect and think, fucking hell, they did lie a lot.
Oh yeah, there's loads of But
that's it, and they lied to devs as well, didn't they? That's why we saw all those amazing concepts that were never going to see the light of day.
Scanning your skateboard into skating games and stuff like that. That is
Milo and Kate.
Madness.
Talk to Milo.
Fucking Kate.
It's bizarre how much they lied about the functionality of that thing before it's come out.
It's because they took out the processing power, didn't they, from it? And that was one of the major problems.
It was supposed to have an on-board thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so it meant that you really couldn't do hardly anything with it after they'd done that.
It's nuts.
It became like an iToy.
Sony did similar with the iToy, because there were all sorts of boasts about what that could do, and then it was like, it's a webcam.
I clean Windows with that bad boy.
It's a webcam.
Don't you worry about that.
From one frame to the next, it will tell you which pixels have changed. That's it. In terms of the PSVR 2 not being a standalone thing, do you think they were just worried that, obviously PlayStation is a huge brand with an existing, massive existing user base? Do you think they thought people would think they were taking the piss, saying, right, well, this new headset's 300 odd quid because it's got its own PlayStation in it? Are they worried that the PlayStation audience are going to turn around and say, I've already got a fucking PlayStation, mate. I just need a screen that's strapped to my face?
No, I don't. I think they ran the numbers and realised they couldn't sell it for 300 quid.
Yeah, possibly.
That's my view of it. I think that they ran it. Yeah, I think this is going to be affordable, this headset, and that's the avenue they're going down.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It really needs to be.
They must, obviously they've got the figures as to how the PSVR sales shot up when suddenly it was 200 quid 2 months before Christmas. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I'd suggest it need to be cheaper. Yeah. I'd suggest it need to be 150, 100 quid.
That's impossible.
It won't be.
That's not going to happen,
It won't be. No, of course it won't. But I think that's the only price point that I'd be interested in.
Because the other thing is the controllers as well. Because they're saying it's going to use he'll have the haptic stuff and all that kind of thing,
and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay.
That fizzled out, didn't it?
Matt's staying quiet for obvious reasons.
Well, I wanted to talk about it, but I don't know anything, so I guess I could. But
of course.
Okay. Also, we're getting PS5 storage upgrades this summer. So at the moment,
no, we're not. We're getting the option to.
Okay.
We're not just getting
everyone gets a free SSD. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, we're getting the option to expand the internal storage later this year. Yeah. And so it's a firmware update so that you can attach new drives, although you have to take the machine apart so that you can do so. But then,
well, I mean, it's not too bad, is it?
Let's take the cover off.
It's literally you take the cover off, and isn't there one screw that you just take the little plastic cover off? It's fine. It's pretty easy to do.
But the interesting thing that came out of this was it said that the firmware update will also increase speeds for the console's cooling to prevent fan overheating.
It's not quite what they said, but this was hidden away in the story, wasn't it? That was definitely slipped in there. during the thing. So what they said is that they're going to start activating their variable speed limits for the fans, right? So that to optimize your PlayStation 5, it can react to games individually in terms to how it manages to cool the GPU and everything. And obviously that sounds like it's going to be a jet engine in 6 months' time.
It's because, suddenly all games are demanding maximum fan all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment on that. Let's wait to see how bad it gets. But it was concerning to read, I ain't going to lie. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe that's based on just how bad the PS4 got.
But, I know, but you read anything PlayStation and they say higher cooling fan speed. You're like, here we go again. Here we go.
Because I don't know if you've noticed this as well, Matt. Because you got a Series X and you got a PS5. I find that the PS5 feels way hotter around it after I've used it than I do the Series X. But then, in theory, you would suggest that actually that might be a better thing because the PS5 might be kicking out more heat.
Yeah, I was going to say, people might complain about consoles getting hot. Like that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to kick heat out. I mean, I don't notice it with PlayStation 5 because of where it is on the left-hand side of my desk, but I notice it more on the Xbox because I often lean over it to change a HDMI cable or something in the back of my computer. So you do feel a bit of warmth from the fan on top.
Yeah, yeah, right. So, yeah, I've felt that before as well, the warmth on top of the Series X. But when I put my hand over the PS5 when it's done, that's way hotter. And there's it's like you could say, it's good, it's kicking out more heat. But at the same time, the whole top of the fucking Series X is kicking out whatever there's inside, and it's not as hot. So I don't know. I don't know if I go along with that. It's weird. But yeah.
Anyway, this expanding storage, I mean, we have until the summer for the prices hopefully to go down, because obviously prices for these M.2 drives, M.2 drives are, 200, 220, 230, same kind of price as the ones with the Xbox. So
yeah,
hopefully in 6 months' time it'll be as cheap as £200.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not getting it. At the moment, I'm lucky enough to not have an issue with it. I've noticed more and more people complaining about the storage on the PS5. I think that might be down to people, obviously game saves and captures and all that sort of stuff is going to slowly fill that console up. I say slowly. Give it a couple of months.
But also if you're playing massive games like if you're playing COD and...
Yeah, COD's the big offender.
I know, Fortnite and that. Those, I mean, COD particularly is always famously massive. So if you're playing that and a couple of other games, then suddenly you might find, the storage is running out. I mean, right now, I'm still, I've still got the same few games. I've already had to obviously delete, stuff if I'm installing a demo or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll delete that, I might as well. But yeah, I don't know. In the summer... Maybe 200 quid's a lot of bloody money for this and
I'm still really happy with what I've got going with the Xbox Series S. I think it's brilliant. Like just having that USB, I've got like a 4 terabyte USB drive just plugged into it, and then just transfer them over when I need to play it. It doesn't take hardly any time whatsoever, and that's fine.
That's what I need to do with that thing.
And you can still run
swapping the games in and out,
like non-series stuff straight off an
external
hard
you
drive.
You can run last gen's games straight off it, but you'd want to. How much was that thing, James?
I think it was about 70 quid, or maybe less than that. I can't remember.
Is that not the same one I've got? I think the Western Digital, the little mini black one. Yeah.
It wasn't massively expensive.
I think I might have to do that because just switching in and out is a way better way of handling them.
Yeah, and also they update as well.
You can do that on the. You could do. Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they update. Yeah,
but the next gen versions update off of that thing.
It's they just everything updates just as if it was on the SSD. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so
is there like a symbol on it that says you have to move this over or something?
Yeah. If you when you download a game, because I've got it set so it defaults to download to the external storage, but then it will just say this game needs the SSD to run. You can download it here if you want to, but you'll have to transfer it over to play it. And it just does that.
Okay, nice. Doesn't the PS5 do that as well?
No, because the external drive thing with that is a massive mess, and I've not even bothered investigating it because all I've heard about is drives crashing and awful stuff. It apparently is a mess. Yeah,
the external drives are given loads of issues at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, one would assume that's fixed now, but
also you can't copy PS5 games onto external drives either. It's only PS4 games, and that causes problems apparently. So, yep. Just leave that alone.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so we had some Stadia stuff this week as well.
So ring the bell.
See, this
Ding,
is the thing,
ding.
because I thought we were kind of done with this, but then obviously...
So did I.
Yeah, but then obviously loads of news stories came out about it. So, according to Bloomberg, this was Jason Schreier again, Stadia missed its sales
That
targets.
sounded weird.
Well, no, because it always is, isn't it?
Jason Schreier, again. Fucking Jason. What's his problem?
Well, he's
Bloody
essentially he's his main rival, right?
That's
It's
true.
Robbie James's main
Absolutely,
rival.
yeah. And he keeps beating me to the punch every time. I'm getting sick of it. Absolutely
James is
sick of
there
it.
just writing the
Is it because he
4,000th word to his expose, and it's, fucking Schreier's done
He's
it
got it
again.
out again. Yeah,
Yeah.
All my contacts.
That
Oh,
fucking
wait.
Schreier. Wait, hold on, James. Is it because he reads past the headline?
That could be a factor. That could be a factor. Yeah.
That's the sort of thoroughness you don't get on this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, according to him, Stadia missed its sales targets for its controller and targets for monthly active users by hundreds of thousands, which isn't very good.
I mean,
And-
yeah.
Go on,
Suppose
Sean.
we could. No, just I suppose that much was obvious, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
go on.
And
sorry.
apparently, they said staff within Stadia were worried that the service was not going to deliver what was expected at its launch, and they said to the management, this needs to be like a beta test, like a launch, because that's how Google generally do things. Like they generally release things as kind of in beta and then fix it as it goes along.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then apparently, Stadia boss Phil Harrison was keen on making like a big bang like launch kind of thing, like as in like this is a new generation and all that kind of thing.
So why didn't they do that? Do you know what I mean? They should have probably done that then.
He did. He went on and on, didn't he? About this is the future of gaming and all that kind of thing. And
Yeah, no, I mean he said that, but
Yeah.
when it comes to the launch, it didn't launch with
no, it
anything.
didn't. No, it didn't. So that was a problem. So yeah, but also apparently they forked out tens of millions of dollars to get big games like onto the service. Like they got like Red Dead Redemption 2 and other stuff. They just spent loads of money getting them to port stuff over, which doesn't seem to have been terribly sensible. I mean, I guess they thought they needed to, but it didn't really work out. But then also
there needs to be a balance, doesn't there? They can't, Yeah, I mean, you do need big games on there. Absolutely, you need big games on there. But just having big games on there that are already out on other systems
and that's the
doesn't
problem.
really entice people to get involved.
Because apparently they wanted to do deals with like Hideo Kojima and Yu Suzuki to like create Stadia exclusive games, and then backed out like at the like from doing it for some reason. And that I mean
For some reason,
yeah, well
subscription base.
it's probably
Is this
before.
before it launched?
No, this was I don't. It's not clear when this. Apparently, it was going to be. It was blocked. It says it was blocked by Stadia in 2020. Like this because it was Kojima Productions was going to do like an episodic horror game, and but then Stadia were like, no, we're not interested, and it didn't happen.
And then
in the
Yu
end.
Suzuki turned out with Balan Wonderworld. They're like, fuck off.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's been quite
Yu
interesting.
Suzuki. Well, hold on, wait. Has Matt just made a
He's-
faux pas
he's
there?
Oh,
got the
yeah, I
wrong
did, yeah.
person.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's going to.
I was kind of like, it sounds right, but I'm sure you fucked that then, Matt.
Yeah.
Do you know, I wouldn't have questioned it.
No,
I
I'm
thought
so
that
glad
was-
you brought it up because I'm going to get emails about it anyway.
See,
Yeah,
I
you're
questioned
Sega's
it.
biggest fan, is
Well,
it not you?
that's what the
You
emails
know
are
that.
about, Dave. Yeah.
I questioned it, but then I couldn't remember who it was that did Balan Wonderworld, so I thought I'd best keep quiet. 'Cause,
It's
Can't remember.
Yuji Naka,
Okay.
innit? No, it's not even him. Goodbye. Move on.
but then, according to a report from Wired, they said that Google struggled to understand game development and how it kind of works. And everything. So,
Which, I'm not saying it's all the same thing, but then, there must be levels on which, game development is just software development. Do you know what I mean? I know it's not that simple, but you would think they would have enough of a grounding in the subject to not be completely clueless.
I don't
There's
know
more-
because
there's
there's
got to be
more
some
people
sort
in.
of similarities there.
And,
these
and
big
yeah,
tech
like I say,
companies
yeah,
are all like this, aren't they? I mean, Apple's the same. Like they don't seem to understand it either, and neither
That's
do
true.
Amazon as things are going. It's odd.
But like Matt said, they brought people in as well. So what's the excuse? They had Phil Harrison in charge. So how could it go wrong? It's bizarre.
Is this like podcasting when, when a celebrity gets involved in podcasting and, like Microsoft are looking at Google and just going, you just come in with all this money and you try to do something we've done for years, right? And you're trying to do it better, but you just don't understand the fundamentals of it. Go away. Leave it to the people that love the art.
The analogy doesn't work because celebrities doing podcasts invariably just do really well just for being celebrities doing podcasts.
That doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, so
also,
is Stadia Peter Crouch?
That would also make us Microsoft. And let's face it, we haven't got the sort of money that they've got.
I think that's accurate.
Okay, fine, sure. All right. I'm not sure James would be happy with that. He's not a fan of those boys. Right, go on.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm sure we're going to hear more about Stadia as time goes on. It's never going to die.
I think we're probably just going to hear less and less about it.
No. I think with this news, man, in the podcast, Sean, we're going to hear more and more about it as time goes on. James, next news story.
Well, BioWare have confirmed that Anthem, the major Anthem overhaul, has officially ceased.
Don't laugh.
Laughing?
This is shit.
Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. I'm just...
Yeah, James.
You were laughing.
I'm not laughing.
I mean, it is shit, but, I mean, inevitable though, right?
Well, not
yeah, but it's just gutting, isn't it? I mean, like, yeah, again, we I suppose we could have seen this coming because you would think we would have seen something by now, right? There'd been a trailer or there'd been a real sort of like, here are the features we are going to add, here are the changes we're going to make, and just nothing was concrete, was it? Like,
yes and no. I mean, because we hadn't heard from Hello Games for a long time before they started bringing out their updates.
Yeah, and they
so there was part of us that was
out
thinking, maybe they're just going quiet and working away.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when I look at that and I think about how bad that game launched and the reaction to it and everything, I do kind of think, oh man, they had a real... I mean, and it's the same for... I suppose it is the same for No Man's Sky. But I really did think, how are you going to bring this back?
I think...
How are you going to try and get people to download Anthem again with even if this new...
There's a big differentiator, though, is EA. That's the big differentiator. Because, like...
Go on.
Well, no, because EA... this is why I was convinced that it would never return, because I think EA would just look at this and look at the money and like the financials or whatever and just be like, this is not worth it. This is absolutely not worth it.
Yeah. It is a shame for the people that are working on it, no doubt about that. But BioWare are in such a state at the moment. They really are. You know, when you look at their game before that was Mass Effect Andromeda, now they've brought this out, and it all comes down to their next game. It's the Elder Scrolls game, is it next?
No,
Elder Scrolls Dragon Age.
Yeah, so the people that were working on this have now moved on to Dragon Age. That's what they're going to be.
Well, Dragon Age, that's it. Sorry, Dragon Age. Elder Scrolls is what's it, isn't it?
Bethesda.
Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, Bethesda.
It's all elves and shit, innit? Doesn't matter, Dave.
It's all under the same umbrella for me, mate. Yeah, I mean, they need to do something with Dragon Age now. Otherwise,
they really do.
They really do.
It's just like with Anthem, it's the problems people had with it. Things like quite fundamental issues like the fact that the end game loot was actually no better than the starting weapons. You can fix that. It's massive, but you can fix it, right? Yeah. But things like you can't change your loadout in the field. You got to go through about 4 different loading screens to change your loadout and then get back in the game. Like that's just so baked into how the game has been coded that I don't think you can just unless you're literally redoing it from the ground up.
I thought they fixed that with an update.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they did. A few months after it came out, they started allowing that stuff. But
oh shit!
For me, it was just it felt so like there was no fluidity to what you were doing. Like with Destiny, even when it was at its worst, just after the launch of the first game, you'd go to a mission, you'd come back to the tower, you'd do all your bits there, and then you'd move on and stuff.
It was a flow to it, wasn't it? It was just,
It just felt real broken.
Yeah.
Like, you got into a world and it was like, here's a mission, go back to the main section, but that was completely empty, and you had to all disband from your party and hope that you all rejoined afterwards and wait for everyone to finish what they were doing there, rather than just being in the same space, still being in your party and all that sort of stuff.
When you'd do a story mission for the first time and it'd just matchmake you with people who are at the boss. And you'd just be like,
it just
okay.
weird stuff like that. That it felt that had they been given more time before launch, then maybe they'd have something. But I think obviously the pressures of getting that game out were too much, and it wasn't quite ready. They must have known that it was a state when they launched it.
Yeah. How could you not? But and to be clear, like I think we'd all agree we would rather have seen this succeed, right? We'd rather have seen the Anthem we were supposed to get.
Yeah, I mean, even whatever I say about it, I like this style of game, like this sort of that, and it's a shame that. I mean, what's left now in this sort of genre? There's just Destiny, in it. What else is there?
Well, there's something else coming up, but we'll get to that.
Sorry,
what you've been playing, mate.
There is Warframe. I forgot about that.
There is what? That's gone quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It was all
you've got played it for a couple of weeks, so all coverage has gone dead.
I
think Division's still going, right? They're still bringing out stuff for that.
The Division's still going, and other smaller games are probably going. I think people realise that doing a game like this is not easy. It's not cheap, at all. And people are really ingrained in the games that they know and love. And lots of people, if they like this sort of games, they're vast majority of them are probably playing Destiny. Destiny obviously has always done well with listening to the community, making updates, and as Dave says, like the improvements from the Destiny on day one that we played back in a few years ago compared to now is massively different. And there's only limited number of hours in a day. It's tough to pull everyone into a new game, and this didn't particularly launch well, and it's tough.
I mean, remember, even with Destiny as successful as that has been, a major publisher let that go. They sold it. So even in situations like that, there's instances where people think it's not quite as successful as they want it to be. So
But it's got to. I mean, surely, running a sort of a battle royale game that's got to be cheaper, isn't it, than running something like Destiny?
Fuck knows. I don't know anything
about
that.
In terms of because I suppose with Destiny, you're thinking about like narrative shit as well, right? And I know Fortnite has all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff going on, but there's no real need for coherence, right? Whereas with Destiny, it's like people are really into the lore and stuff, and everything's got to add up and make sense. Which is only going to get harder and harder and harder as long as it, the longer it runs. So that stuff's a nightmare. Plus balancing it, and I would not.
I wonder how many more of these big games we're going to keep seeing. Obviously, there will always be teams and publishers and developers who think, we've got the ideas that make a difference, and this is going to be different to the rest of them. But it feels like everyone just calls it, this is a Destiny-like game. It's. Destiny is the game for this, just like WoW was the one that kind of stopped most other MMOs. MMOs came and went, and everyone was like, what's the point? Everyone's just playing WoW. WoW is just the one.
I'll say this about Destiny. We're 3 years away now from shutting the fuck up. I'll tell you that.
What do you mean?
They would have finally got to the 10-year plan. Like that was what we were all laughing at that when they announced that.
But
if they survive until for another 3 years, mate, they
absolutely will.
Definitely they will.
Destiny 3
Destiny's doing great.
Apparently
the new season's wicked. I've only touched on it a bit because I just haven't got the time to get
Destiny?
involved.
Come on, that's quite funny. That was a good little jab there, wasn't it? Come on, just take it to the ribs and chuckle. That's the way to do it.
But I just haven't got the time for it at the moment. But everyone seems to be loving it as far as I'm aware.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a shame that the redemption arc for Anthem did not happen. What I found interesting about this is that they're not saying, they're saying that they're not doing this other 2.0, but the live service will continue running as it does today.
For as long as there's people on it, isn't it?
And I've no doubt the numbers probably spiked during this whole thing.
Even at the news that they weren't going to update it, I was a bit like, shall I just download it and have a look? And I was like, why? What's the point? That interest was there.
I went on to the Anthem subreddit over the last couple of weeks just to see what the mood was, and everyone, there was a hashtag that happened. It's called I believe in Anthem or something along those lines. And what happened on Reddit was that people from other prominent subreddits would come in saying, "Hey, we're a Guardian from Destiny subreddit. Just want to, just want you to know that we believe in you. We hope it happens, and then
patronising motherfucker.
Yeah, it's loads of pacing.
Oh no, because the Destiny community's been through it, haven't they?
Every single post on, a vast majority of the new posts in that subreddit, with people's like, I
see a Thieves guy here.
No, definitely. They're saying like, well, we're from the Dead by Daylight community. We really hope you have a good. And it's just like people fishing for upvotes and stuff. But the whole thing was just people like, hey, we're from a successful game. We hope you guys do well.
That's the thing. The Stadia subreddit is pretty entertaining to go on, because as I said a couple of
on live going, hi guys, yeah, we keep going.
Believe the Stadia one's funny because, like I said the other week, it's like late 90s sort of Amiga owners that are still it's still bargaining that it's still going to be great and everything. It's great.
God, what a horrible thing! Could you imagine being right on the flip side? Could you imagine that being an Anthem fan, like a genuine Anthem fan, you love the game, you've got two mates in it, it's a free-player game, who absolutely adore the game, and you play it. Oh, is it 4-player? Okay, well, you've got 3 mates, not important, and you all absolutely adore the game, you play it every night, you love it, fuck everyone, I love this game, and we're going to keep playing it, right? And then you log into your subreddit that's quiet for 90% of the time, but you don't care because it means you know everyone. And then all of a sudden you start saying, see a Thieves fan here. Just want to say, thinking of you guys. Oh, fuck off. Division guy here. Definitely not you. Just leave us alone.
We hope you'll be happy with the new... Oh, it's not happening, is it? Okay. See a Thieves guy here.
Infinite guy
off.
Here. We hope we don't end up like you, but it's not looking good.
Hey, Minesweeper guy here.
Fuck.
We love the game.
Go on.
Okay, last story is that CD Projekt have delayed Cyberpunk's second major patch, saying it's because of the cyber attacks that happened.
Next gen version's not coming out this year, is it?
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
I really should have got a refund on my Xbox version when that was still a thing. I mean, maybe it's still a thing now. I don't know.
It is. Hold on, did you buy it from Microsoft?
On the Microsoft Store, yeah.
Yeah, then they're still offering that. You go to support pages.
I should do that because
I've been on their support pages for most of the week. I'll explain about that in a minute. But yeah, they've got a big sign up saying we're still offering this refunds for Cyberpunk.
At this point, I mean, I don't think I even turned it on. And at this point, if I do ever play it, which it seems unlikely now, it'll be the next gen version. So I should probably just get a refund on it.
Oh man, I'm totally playing it. I'm going to play it at some point. I was kind of tempted to start it this week because. Because I saw it was March and thought, there's a February patch, and then I saw the news and I was like, okay, maybe not then. But
I loaded it up
definitely
again.
Still up for it.
I loaded it up again the other day, and I'm not like
Did
twisting.
You finish it?
No, God no, nowhere close.
Okay.
I'm not twisting the knife. Like it's really shit that it's happened to CD Projekt Reds. I gather it's like people have actually been the staff have been locked out of their work accounts and stuff. That's why they've literally not been able to do stuff. But yeah, loading it up and because obviously it's been about 2 months since I last played it, maybe not that long, but thinking, there's probably been a few big patches. Like, let's see how it's behaving, and it's just the same shit. Just like NPCs like getting a mobile phone out, and then the mobile phone just floats in the air as they walk away and stuff. And you're just like, come on!
They must be well pissed off as well because Miles Morales come out and that had ridiculous bugs as well. But everyone was slapping their thighs and laughing and going, "Look at how great this is! Brilliant! Oh, we might put that in the next Spider-Verse film.
Yep.
That stuff, those bugs, brilliant!" They must be looking at that going. But when we had bugs, you absolutely
we've got bigger bugs.
Bugs are amazing.
Someone do a funny multiverse film about us, and then we can say it was on purpose.
Every NPC falls through the ground on our one. You don't just turn into a puddle.
Yeah, they need to fix it. They need to fix it.
Yeah,
I mean they will do.
Oh, they will. They absolutely will.
We'll see.
But yeah, I really wouldn't rush at this point. Like, if you've waited this long...
Is it still not on the PSN store?
No, still not.
Ouch.
Shit.
Ouch.
Crazy.
Okay.
You can buy it on Stadia though.
Special version.
No, thank you. Go on.
That's it. That's the end of the news. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just to explain, I think I'll probably start this before what you've been playing. I had to send my Xbox Series X back. Great console. What a pain in the arse. There's been various reports, I don't know if you've seen them, but a lot of people are getting problems with syncing their controllers. And Microsoft have responded to this. Like their Xbox support have literally put videos together on how to sort it out. But it's definitely a software issue, because I had a problem that was worse than most, where literally it would disconnect twice a day. This come out of nowhere, by the way. It was this weekend it started, and it lasted for about 3 days before I did something about it. Where my controllers wouldn't connect, and they keep saying pull the power cable out the back, leave it for 10 seconds, then plug it back in with the USB connected, and then connect it. Anyway, that wouldn't happen. It wouldn't fix the issue. So getting hold of Microsoft support is ridiculously hard. It's ridiculously hard. You have to go through a virtual agent on the chat room, and then go through like a set amount of questions, and then it says, we'll call you. If you want to talk to someone, we'll call you. Put your phone number here. You put your phone number here, and it goes, that failed. And you go, well, what do I do now?
Right.
Then what do I do now? In the end, I had to get in touch with the Twitter stuff. It's a boring story, but eventually they said they're replacing it, so I sent it off Friday, and I'm just waiting for a new one now. But yeah, what a weird problem, man. This wasn't that much of a problem with the One, was it? The Xbox One? So why is this so happening on the Series
it's happened
X?
to me with the Series S, but yeah, just a hard reset cleared it, and it's been fine
I
since.
just hope it's a software thing. It feels like that, because when I wiped it before I sent it off, the pad connected instantly with no problems. So I'm assuming it's like a little glitch somewhere that they need to iron out, but they need to iron that out quickly. Because
I wouldn't know.
I've
never
had
had any
the
problem
issue
with any Xbox hardware. It's always been brilliant.
I mean, I've had that issue with this. Chet from Chet and John's, he had the same issue, and he had to send his off. And I've heard various reports of people struggling to sync their controllers with their console. It's so frustrating. So we'll see what happens, see how quickly I get that back, because I want it back this week. I miss my Series X quite badly.
Yeah, I mean,
Quite
you're pretty unlucky with that. Yeah, hopefully it's just a... But so they're saying a brand new console, but it may just be a software thing later on. So let's hope it doesn't affect you again.
Yeah, but that's it. And then, I mean, if it's a software thing, it's fine. But at least I got, if a company's sending you a brand new console, you don't turn that down ever. You might as well. I know I've only used it for a few months, but why the fuck not? So yeah. That was my problem. Other than that, should I start what you've been playing this week?
Yeah, why not?
If you want.
I think you've probably got most of it anyway, haven't you?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll start with Miles Morales, because I've been hammering on with that, and I won't go into it too much because I can't add much more to the conversation. But I've found that do you ever play a game, and I guess this might be down to my state of mind at the moment, but you ever play a game where you go, I'm playing this in a different way, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I am feeling connected to doing this weird shit, because I did the first 1 or 2 story missions in Miles Morales, and then I just said, okay, I'm going to go to every icon on this map and do each and every side mission, and even if half of it's boring, a lot of it is repetitive, but I don't care. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to spend all my time on these side mission stuff, because that's what I've been doing on Miles Morales. It's weird. It's weird. The moment I see a story mission flash up, I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to go to my app and check what needs doing, and I will do all that stuff. You get a phone in the game, and it's got an app on it with loads of little side missions, and I'll do that, and there's a symbol there. I'm going to go and do that, and it's weird. It just feels like I'm not willing to press on.
Miles Morales is definitely one of those games that kind of... I think I've loads of games in the last few years. That's one of the best ones where I just feel like compelled to do all the side missions, and I'm happy and comfortable in that mode just to keep playing it like that.
I think it can be therapeutic, that. Like when you're just doing something where you know what you've got to do. You know what you've got to do. It's not difficult, really, but it's just nice, flying around or whatever.
That's kind of what I'm doing. It feels like I'm just cleaning that map, and I'm really enjoying my time with it. It's not like I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I don't want to play it today." I'm always wanting to play it, but it's weird because I think also part of it is the knowing that it's not that long. That it could be done in 6 to 8 hours, and I just want to be in the world for longer than that. Actually.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and spend my time doing all these side missions. I also find it hilarious that it does the video game. It's one of those situations where a video game has to introduce a mechanic and stick to it, despite the fact that it makes no sense in the real world. But you kind of give it a pass because it needs to be done. And what I mean by that is that this app that is launched while you're playing the game is a way for civilians to submit an emergency.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man can check it and go, there's an emergency there, I'm going to go and sort it out. And you go and sort it out. But the problem is, you could look at your phone and it will say, save the building or whatever. It's got like a little title there. And you'll go, I'll do that in a bit. And then you go around, you do loads of stuff. And then you go and do a story mission. And that takes like 45 minutes. You come out of the story mission, you go, I'll do that mission now. And then you fly down there and like there's the buildings on fire. And they're like, quick, Spider-Man, everyone's going to die inside if you don't do this quickly. And you're like, you submitted this about 4 days ago. I've just let it hang.
Yeah.
So that's made me laugh a bit. The other thing, I don't know whether we could talk about this on the show, because I wanted to ask you, you did the cat in the backpack. That was all spoken about, like pre-launch, right?
Yeah, it's in one of the trailers and everyone went mad
How
for
the
it.
fuck do you get that?
It's side missions you have to do. And
it's a side mission.
It's not a specific suit?
No, I don't think so.
Right, okay. Because I've done several side missions with cats, and that hasn't activated any of it. So I'm a little bit confused.
I think that's an in-game thing.
In the shop that you help, right?
In the shop, yeah, I've done that one. Yeah, okay. Maybe I just haven't pushed. Maybe that unlocks after I've done.
I think it is an in-game thing, actually. That
right.
I think it's to do with that, from what I remember. Yeah.
I'll check that out.
To be honest, I did that mission and then never kind of investigated further to have the cat full time or whatever. I just did the mission. It was like, oh, cool, got the cat thing in, and that was it. I just pushed on. I didn't bother trying to see what the deal was. It's still really
buggy, the game, though. I was quite surprised at that. I mean, yeah, not as bad as it was at launch with turning into lampposts and
oh right, yeah,
it crashed into the dashboard and stuff. But I've had loads of times where, like, that big mission, like that big cinematic scene that they showed straight away to announce the game, where it's on the bridge, the bridge is collapsing.
That bit's brilliant, isn't it?
The bit where you have to save, but it was kind of ruined for me, because the bit where you have to save the ambulance falling over the edge of the bridge or whatever it is, the bus. It said, oh no, you need to fire your web at the wheels or whatever to tie it to the bridge and let people out. It just wouldn't let me. I would shoot it and it just wouldn't do anything. And I was like, what? And I was on there for ages, and it was this big time sequence thing. But because I couldn't do it, I'm just walking around while, like, it's like, whoa, is it going to fall over? Every second counts. But I'm just walking around, just trying to fire my web at it, doing nothing. I thought, this is really weird. And then I reloaded from the checkpoint, and it worked after that, like, straight away. So kind of killed the mood. But I don't know, man. It's my game at the moment. I'm just sitting playing that over it like forever. It feels like it doesn't feel short to me because I'm spending so much time in the fucking side missions. Mad.
Yeah, but, it's just a really great comforting game, and I thought it was great. Anyway, the story is great, the set pieces are great, and I think it's a nice length, but it's still fun as hell just to bob around the city swinging, and it's great. I think it did kind of miss some of the bits I loved, a lot of Taskmaster stuff from the 2018 game, but I get it's a shorter experience, so what it is. But
I prefer this. I do prefer this. I think I just like the vibe and the messaging and the characters. Oh yeah,
it's so much better than the 2018 one in all regards. Pretty much, it's like the side missions are tighter, and I love it.
Okay, the other game I've been playing this week is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I know we've spoken about this for 2 weeks in a row, so I will try and not cover ground that we've already covered, which will actually make this sound a lot more negative than it is, I think. Because, you've sung its praises and I agree with all of it. People that listen to the show know how much I love 3D World, and that maintains this. Obviously, it's the same game. It's brilliant. Not complete. I haven't played too much Mario 3D World. I'm on World 3, I think. Or at least at the end of World 2. So, because I've been mainly focusing on Bowser's Fury, but I'm not convinced by the speed increase.
It's mad, isn't it? It is really noticeable, don't you think?
It's odd. It feels too much.
Really? Because I don't remember the original well enough to really notice it.
God, the original's well slow compared to this, which I could see why they want to increase it, but it's not a slight increase, is it? It's massive. It feels that a lot of the time I'm not hitting run, and that feels odd to me for any Mario game, I guess. But who cares? I mean, maybe I'll get used to that after, a few. But when I sit down and properly try and tackle that game, maybe I'll get used to it and it won't be an issue. But it's very strange when you first start playing it. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Why? It just feels really sped up. But yeah, I'm sure I'll mention that somewhere down the line, 3D World, because I will go back and I'll try and 100% that at some point. But Bowser's Fury was what I jumped in straight away. Because obviously completed 3D World not too long ago. So I was curious to see what Bowser's Fury was about. To start, yes, it's brilliant. Yes, I love some of the ideas in it. I love the music's fucking so good.
It's great.
Really. It kind of makes you go, wow, they've put the music in this weird concept game. They've put this top tier level Mario music in this side game that they stuck on a re-release. It's bizarre, really, because it's so good. The music when you're on Plessy is just unbelievably good. But yeah, I mean, all of the music in the game's great. Here's what I've got to say about it, and I don't know if you'll agree with me, but whatever, let's see. I love the concept. I think if they're going to expand on this for the next main 3D Mario game, they've still got some lessons to learn, because I think there's a couple of missteps in it. So the first misstep, I think, is that they tied the character movement and moveset too closely to 3D World, which I'd heard people say before I'd played it, but I didn't believe it until you actually play it. You realise that actually the actual movement, when you're taking a game that's so restricted as 3D World or say New Super Mario Bros, because it's more in that sort of ilk rather than Mario Odyssey. The beautiful thing with Mario Odyssey is that you didn't mind getting from one place to another in those levels because of the moveset. It felt so fluid and the momentum was building up, and it just felt a lot more fluid. With this, it feels very limited compared to what you can do in that game. And for a game where you've got to get from A to B a lot, it's not as fun to get from A to B.
Yeah, and because of the perspective and the way it works, you're expecting the Odyssey moveset, aren't you?
This is what we said last week. Yeah. It's really peculiar, when you first start playing, because it's your mind is expecting that you can do backflips and stuff like that, and you can't, and it's just odd.
Yeah, it's just more fun to move around those games. And I think when you've got an idea that where you're supposed to be travelling large distances to get to somewhere, you want to make that movement as fun as possible. And I think once you sort of lose that, that's it's just don't link it to the 3D World stuff. Yeah. Go with the Mario Odyssey moveset. Even if you're removing the hat stuff, it still feels a lot more fluid and fun to do.
I suppose that's the argument, isn't it? Is there's all the different items that give you different abilities and stuff. I suppose that's where it compensates. But it's as James says, you're sort of expecting to be able to do the backflips and the triple jump and the all that stuff. And it's fine, you get used to it. but it's just
you
there's an
you
expectation.
totally
there.
get used to it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I didn't like was I felt it missed a core element of why I love Mario games, right? And this is evident in both the 3D games and the 2D games. And that's the feeling of exploration, that you want to look at every nook and cranny of each level. And that's totally valid to say that for a 2D side-scrolling game, a new Super Mario Bros. Game, a 3D World game, and a Mario Odyssey game. You look at those levels differently as you play them. You're like, what's round that corner? Why is there a block there? What's that for? You know, it's that curiosity that you get with Mario games where you try something, you achieve something, and it rewards you, right? I feel that's totally missing from Bowser's Fury. I think there's a lot of areas in that where you're like, what's up there? Oh, nothing. Or what happens if I do this? Well, nothing. And, you know, it's harsh to put these criticisms onto this thing because it's so much more than what I was expecting. When they initially announced this, I thought, a couple of levels in 3D World that's going to have Bowser in it or something. But it's not that. It's its own thing, and it's wonderful in so many ways. It's just, it feels like it's missing that. You know, what's the point in having a big open world Mario game if each of the parts of those open world are going to feel so linear? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is very much. It's cool. Go on.
I'm not convinced they are going to go this direction anyway, like in the future, because I don't think. I enjoyed it as a side thing, but I don't think it works really because of the fact that you can't have the detail that you get in really good like 3D Mario games.
But I think you can, right? And I the reason why I think you can is because each world in Mario Odyssey, like each level in Mario Odyssey, feels like a huge chunk of what's in Bowser's Fury, right? You look at the Luncheon Kingdom. That's massive.
Or like New York, the big city one.
Yeah, New Donk City or whatever. And you think about how dense that was and how full of secrets that was. And that's all kind of missing from this. And I think that's in part down to them trying to link it to Mario 3D World, but also in part to the fact that this is clearly, you know, this is clearly something they put together with, you know, less budget, less, probably a smaller team, all that sort of stuff. So again, trying to judge it compared to mainline Mario games is just not fair. But I played this and I thought, man, I love to be able to just get really excited about what's over there, and I didn't get that from this. And the final thing, which I find is not only like very strange for a Mario game, but also ultimately against Nintendo's core values, the Bowser popping up every now and then. That, what does that add? I don't know what that adds. And I like the initial idea.
There's things in the world that obviously you need him to do.
Yeah, I know, but if that's the case, then why am I finishing the game and then waiting next to those things, waiting for him to spawn?
Yeah, I had that, yeah. And it also, after I finished the game and I thought, there's three more things to do, I'm like, is it going to happen? Because that first time you wait feels like it's ages. I'm like, oh no, what if it now takes triple the amount of time?
That's so not Nintendo. Like, Nintendo's core value is no matter what you're doing, at any point, it needs to be fun, right? That's it. But like in this, it's kind of like, well, no, in this one, if you want to do the Bowser's Fury blocks, then you just wait.
Stand around.
And then they'll do it. Or, you want to go for that? Like, you're doing this race, or you want to do this, like, challenging platforming segment? Oh, Bowser's here now, and he's just going to fire a beam of fire at you, and it's hard to get away from unless you're
that's why I said that's a bit kind of annoyed me. I think you disagree, James, that you didn't really do your head in, but when I was trying to do challenging platforming to get, you know, a certain thing, clearing things up towards the end, I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake, now. And basically often when it happened, I just kill myself because I'm like, it's no point trying to like wait it out or trying to accomplish the tough platforming section I'm doing. I'm just going to kill myself and it will end, and I'll just do it again. Which is rubbish. That was the way out of that situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's disturbing. when you're playing it in front of kids.
Yeah. El said, well, why are you killing yourself? It's like, well, because this thing's happening. It's just, you'll be all day.
Look away, Elodie. Just
look away.
So I am on like 83 shines. I've got 17 to go before I've 100%ed it. What I will say is that I think I enjoyed the build up to the end of the main story way more than I have getting the shines afterwards. I think, which is very strange for me from a Mario game.
I can say it's usually the other way around for you, isn't it?
It is usually the other way around, but the actual fighting with Bowser is really good fun. The intimidation at the start, watching that thing hover in the background is actually really intimidating and scary. It gives you the sort of chills. You know, like I've explained my weird thing that I've got with scale and stuff. And when I see his shell float up into the air and stuff, you kind of like, man, that is actually quite intimidating. But also, like, again, there are elements in this that feel so well put together that I know what I've said, everything I've said here has been quite negative. But the previous two shows, you guys have been so positive about it, and I agree with all those positive opinions too, because I really enjoyed my time with it. That final section, you know, where you're fighting Bowser for the last time before the credits roll, was so good. Like, really good fun, looked great, played really well, and just screamed Nintendo, you know.
Yeah.
It felt really, really good. It's weird to play a game like this with so many elements of it that I kind of feel that they've either misunderstood or misjudged, because that's not what you usually get with Mario. But at the same time, I'm fully aware of the fact that I'm judging a game that is more of a side thing that they've put out there, rather than something that they're selling as an individual, you know, the next game in the Mario series or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm being way too harsh on it, I think. Or am I? I don't know. I bought it, so maybe I'm not being too harsh on it.
Well, yeah, and obviously, like you've got that thing of, well, I've already played the original, so I am kind of just paying for the new stuff in some ways, which puts a bit more pressure on it. Like, if you'd never played 3D World before, then this is the easiest purchase you'll ever make. Like,
yeah, for sure,
But yeah,
but the game is 3D Land Plus. A 3D World Plus.
Yeah, no, so, like, from the perspective of someone who's played the original, or, like, in my case, I've still got it upstairs, you know. I was a bit like, I am basically just paying the money for the Bowser's Fury stuff.
Yeah, and also, Matt, they released Treasure Tracker plus Odyssey levels, and that was 3 levels. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's an improvement of what they've provided to back up these remade games in the past. So, fair enough. Well, sorry, James, you seem... Go on.
No, I mean, I know. I had a slightly different experience to you with this, I think, because I didn't really care that much about like the Bowser battle stuff at all, and I just didn't. I did enjoy like collecting all the shines. That was the thing that I enjoyed.
Do you 100% it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and really
did you get to the point where you were standing next to some blocks waiting for Bowser to turn up?
That happened. That did happen a couple of times towards the end when I had about 4 or 5 of them left, I think, and I did do that.
That never happens with Nintendo games, and that's my point.
Not normally, no. But in general, I didn't have a problem with Bowser just turning up at times either. Like, I quite enjoyed that. I thought
a lot of the time I didn't mind it, and we get quite excited. I mean, I've told you that my son Charlie, my youngest, is evil. Like, he's actually evil. I mean, when Harry first watched Star Wars, he cowered behind a cushion when he saw Darth Vader. When Charlie first watched Star Wars, he laughed and clapped whenever Darth Vader was on the screen. So we knew he was evil from a young age. Like, the joke was that Harry was it was the Jedi and Charlie was the dark side. But
you absolute nerd.
When I bought tell me about it. When I brought up the main menu, right, to Bowser's Fury, he was like, Charlie was like, I don't want to see that Bowser's Fury. Put it on the other one. That is too much. You know what I mean? Like, he's massive. But then he walked in when I was playing Bowser's Fury once. The rain started, the music went, everything went dark. Bowser jumps right in front of you. He's like 200 times bigger than you are, and he's firing, like screaming fire at you and all this sort of stuff. Charlie was belly laughing, and the moment he went away, he nearly cried. He was like, I want more Bowser. And it's like, this is quite strong for you, mate. And he's like, no, Bowser, bring Bowser back. I sent you a video, didn't I?
Yeah.
Where Bowser? I want Bowser. Stop fucking hell, mate. That boy. I'm worried. But yeah, no, I mean, I know what you're saying, James. And for the most part, I did really enjoy it. And I think it's well worth playing. If you're a Mario fan, then you've got to play it because it's such a treat to play a Mario game with so many unique ideas and that's so different to everything you've played before. And it still has some brilliant levels in it, so some brilliant challenges in it, and it feels really fun to play. But at the same time, there's a lot of glaring missteps. A lot. That's too strong. There's a few glaring missteps that you really don't expect from a Mario game that I kind of think, oh wow, there's some simple stuff here. There's some simple stuff to get around this, especially for the endgame stuff. If Bowser Jr. says to you at the for the endgame stuff, oh, if you really want to upset Dad, do press this button. And if you want to calm him down, press that button. Problem solved. Problem solved. You've had the experience of him turning up randomly, and it feels fine for the first 50 shines. But afterwards, being able to turn that off and on just seems like the right thing to do. Seems like the Nintendo thing to do,
They
right?
could have made it a special bell, and it would have fit thematically with the cat stuff.
There's only one special bell, Sean, and that's Sean
mate,
Bell.
Mate,
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm blushing.
Wait, speaking of which,
Yeah.
so you've got the cat bell as your power up. What's the special cat bell that you get?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that does. That's just odd,
It
isn't
puts
it?
a collar on you,
Okay.
but I don't know what it does.
Yeah. Weird.
Bizarre. Maybe it makes you climb higher. I don't know. But I would. Here's the thing, James. I love the concept of this game, and I would love to see them expand it. But I'd like to see them iron out the weird stuff that doesn't quite fit in with Mario games for me. I would like them to tailor it around my wishes. Is what I'm saying. Just make the exploration a little bit better. Make the persistent threats fine, but don't make it randomized. I think.
So, not that I'm going to do a bet because bets are ruined. But do we?
Why? Because you
all
lost.
think?
That's the most. You've had the most. Are you legitimately never betting again?
Well, he's lost the Anthem one as well because that was. It wasn't really a bet, but Matt was the one who was most
that's
insistent.
not a bet. It doesn't count.
That,
Are you ever betting again, Matt?
Well, I mean, the last one. Well, look what happened. I said lowest price console. Yeah,
No, you
it
didn't.
wasn't.
Look what happened. I'll tell you what happened.
Look what happened.
Justice.
No, you didn't.
Well,
You said
how
the
was it possibly
equivalent,
justice?
and then you went, "Oh, what if they bring out a cheaper console, Microsoft?" And James went, "No, I'm not having that." So I don't know.
That wasn't exactly what I said, and it doesn't matter.
It's 100% what you said. We played the clip.
I think anyone ask 100 people in the street which is the lowest price next gen console. I think they'll say, "Oh, it's the S, isn't it?"
But they said, "But that was that the agreed bet?" That's what they'd say, and we'd go no, and they go, "Okay, well, fine."
Well,
James
say
wins.
yes. That was largely agreed. Anyway, whatever.
Okay, go on.
My question is: do we think that this is just like a one-off, and actually the next one will be much more traditional, or do you think?
What's traditional though? Like, what's
well,
traditional
okay,
for a
not
3D
this
Mario
open world,
game?
you think?
The only thing I
Do
can
you
see
think
them
it'll be
doing,
open world?
the only way they can possibly do that. I mean, I have no idea, but the only way I can concede that they possibly do that is if they have hub worlds or something that still have loading between them. Because I can't see how the Switch is going to be able to do. Like
Well,
a
No,
Well,
but
it
not
won't be on the
necessarily
Switch,
talk
will
about
it?
the Switch.
It won't be on the Switch.
No, I think, to answer your question, Matt, no, I think their next 3D Mario game will be Mario Odyssey 2.
Okay.
I don't think that will happen.
I think that'll happen. I think that'll happen. It's so easy for them to bring that out. It's
Right,
so easy for them
if
to
the
do.
next, we had Mario Odyssey, amazing game. We've had this, and then if the next major 3D Mario game is Odyssey 2, a sequel to a game we've always seen, so basically more of the same, which is great because the same was brilliant. Will Pooh not be like, "Oh, I've wanted another brand new Mario game"?
They'll add
You
Yoshi.
reckon? Yoshi Odyssey 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, mate.
I'll play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play any 3D Mario game, but I feel like the response to this has been largely really, really positive, right? It's been
yeah. And
I don't know if it's robust enough an idea to spin out into a full £50 game. Do you know what I mean?
But then I think
so. If they
without
iron
the
out
limitations
the stuff,
of the Switch, I think next console. I mean, it won't be on the Switch because it won't. So next console more powerful. Maybe they're like, well, this is pretty much the limits of what we could do. Also, they'll learn a lot of stuff. They'll get the feedback. I mean, I'm fascinated to see when they first announce the next one what direction it goes in, because it could be going.
I think we've got a long wait before they announce their next sort of concept.
I'll be retired probably.
What, from the podcast or?
Definitely the podcast, yeah.
Excellent. Cool. We're looking forward to that, guys?
No.
Oh. Yeah.
Wait, because you have to read the feedback out, Sean. Right, okay. So that's what I've been playing this week. Sean.
Hello. I've been playing the demo of Outriders.
Good.
Oh, good. I want to hear about this.
Right, so for those who aren't familiar, it's the new game from I nearly said People Might Fly. People Can Fly, isn't it? The Bulletstorm devs, anyway. And it's the like in the trailers and stuff, people were a bit down on it because it looked pretty generic, very sort gritty sci-fi. Very Gears of War in a lot of ways, but with Destiny-esque powers. And that is what it is, basically. The demo's a bit strange in that it's literally like the first few hours of the full game, right? So it's all the initial story bits and stuff. Your progress carries forward into the full game if you choose to buy it. It's quite nice because they've been very clear that it's like this isn't like a quote beta, like it is a demo, and the demo's not going anywhere. Like it will always exist. It also has full crossplay right off the bat, which is cool.
Nice.
And yeah, so you start off, and initially it's like a very sort of linear, like story based. I mean, it's all quite story based, but it's like really sort of like you're just going between like little set pieces and stuff, right? Initially, the plot is you're sort of very standard. Like Earth is fucked, so there's like a few colony ships got sent off into space. They lost contact with one of them, but this other one made it to this planet, right?
Pure Andromeda.
Exactly. And like Andromeda, not everything's as brilliant as we thought on the new planet.
For fuck's
sake. I know. What are the odds? But
it's coronavirus over there.
But it's
I
so
thought
strange.
about that. Could you imagine that, right? If that thing landed on Mars and it found a Martian, but then they found a bit of corona on it, and then they spread it to that.
We gave it corona, and it just killed the last Martian.
And then someone looked up at a telescope, really, really good telescope up at Mars, and there's a bunch of Martians just shaking their fists at Earth. For fuck's sake, I'm fucking
gave us
sick of lockdown.
the fucking Rona.
We're all doing the fucking exercises in front of the telly, you bastard.
Yeah, the amount of fucking Zoom quizzes on this planet right now. Sick of it.
One of them turns up with like really long hair, just going, all the barbers are closed, and the bloke next to him goes, oh, well, at least you got hair, you fucking prick. God, so good.
Yeah, and it's really strange because it sort of veers between like the dialogue and the story stuff, right? Veers between stupid video gamey bollocks but then occasionally being quite thoughtful and emotional, and like there's conversations about like humanity's come to this new planet, but are they doomed to repeat all the same mistakes again, or is this like a brilliant new start and humanity's worked out all the issues that made them fuck up Earth in the first place, and stuff like this. And it's like, oh, this is all right. This is there's some actually pretty good characters in this, and I can't say any more because I don't want to spoil it. Which is not a concern I was expecting to have about this. It's like you got to play the demo yourselves because it's worth seeing those few opening hours because there are some surprises in it. And I will say no more than that. But like it's still, even when it's doing the surprises and the twists and stuff, it's still this constant thing of like oscillating between genuinely good bits and, you know, good bits of characterization, and then cutscenes where it's your character just going like, fuck! Holy fuck! What the fuck? Like, and it's stupid as fuck. And it's like, it's definitely intentional, but like the whiplash between the two is very odd. But overall, yeah, the story's pretty good, and there's some really good characters in it. You get your powers about halfway through the demo, and they're really good fun as well. So it carries on playing like basically like Gears of War, right? It's all cover based, and it's hiding behind walls, and it's doing the little roadie run between bits of cover and stuff. And yeah, but with your Destiny style powers on top of that. So I went with a class called the Trickster, which is all about like close range melee damage and sort of slowing down time for enemies and stuff like that. And it's fucking great fun. Like, so I've got, you know, one power where I do like a big swipe with like a fucking electro sword or whatever. I've got one that teleports me behind enemies and gives me a massive armor bonus. And then I've got one that just creates like a big bubble that slows time, right? And it's just fucking so much fun.
What are you playing on?
Series S.
Okay.
Looks and runs really nicely as well. So I'm just like, right, there's a group of enemies, fucking teleport behind them, get the big fucking time bubble, none of them can do jack shit, give them a big old swipe with the sword. If any of them survive that, pull out an automatic shotgun and just like, it's so good. Like, the weapons feel great. It's like pretty gory, but in a fairly cartoonish way. It's basically, you know, again, sort of obvious influence from Gears of War, I guess. Yeah, it's just good fun.
Is it out?
No, not yet. It's not. I think it's about a month off.
Right. Okay.
And it's, you know, it's weird because they've been explicit. Like, this isn't a service game, right? It is a cooperative, story-based game with RPG elements and powers and stuff.
So it's not a Destiny-like game.
Well, yeah, not really. It's got those sorts of powers, but it is like there is a story to follow, and then I think that's basically it.
Okay.
Which is fine, you know. I quite like the honesty of it.
That's good. Like, that probably interests me more. You know,
exactly, because you know it's got an end point. You know,
I haven't got time for a Destiny-like game or Destiny in my life. But if it isn't that, and it's more of a limited thing with the same kind of gameplay, but it's not an online service game, that's more of an interest to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, you can repeat missions if you want. You can just go to, you know, whichever point in the world like triggers the mission, and it's like, do you want to just do this again? You know, fine. And you can just keep getting loot doing that. So there's all like loads of different equipment, different weapons and armor with different you know, stats and perks and different damage types and stuff like that. Which I've not, you know, fully dug into yet, but I think there's plenty to look at there. There's also, like, you know, the full game's going to have crafting and stuff. It has this thing where basically the world has like a level, so the world levels up as you do, and that obviously makes things more difficult, but it also makes loot better. But you can just knock it down. If you just like, do you know what? Fuck this, it's too hard. Can't be bothered. Or if you're playing with mates who are a lower level, you can just tweak how hard the game is at basically any point. Obviously, you have to unlock the higher levels as you go, but you can knock it down at any point. I was just properly surprised how much I've enjoyed this. There has been a tweet doing the rounds. I don't know if you've seen it. Someone basically taking the piss out of the fact that there's like, you go to a spot and then press a button and it activates a cutscene where you just jump over a little gap.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that,
which,
yeah.
Out of context, does look very funny. I'm not like, not having a go. But it's just, that's just like, the way it works is you run around in the open world and there are certain spots that trigger missions. And obviously because it's sort of designed from the ground up as a co-op game, you approach one of those points and then like everyone has to vote to do that mission, basically. So everyone has to approach the same point and go, yes, please. So there's all these weird little transition points. So yeah, you'll jump over a little gap, or there'll be like a big door, and someone will have to like open it and then walk through it or whatever. And it's just there as a transition point between the open world and the mission.
That's better than crawling through a gap, though, right, Matt?
Definitely. I mean, was that bit we jumped over a gap? Was that what made you emotional, Sean, or was there another one?
That wasn't what made me emotional. No, it was quite funny. But that's, I mean, I know laughter's an emotion, but not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
not.
It looks a bit ropey though, doesn't it?
It's got a very limited color palette. I thought it looked pretty good, but it's very very grey and brown, to say the least. But it runs beautifully on the Series S. I think it looks alright. It's weird, like it's one of those that's just like there are areas in the game that are just so grim that you're just kind of walking around and then just being like, oh, the whole floor here is dead people, and you just don't even see it because it's just like, oh, it's just set dressing, isn't it? Which is sort of weird.
Wicked.
But yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I've had a really good time, and like I've rinsed all the missions in it, and I've felt the itch. Like I was quite gutted when I was fully done with it, and I'm sort of thinking of just going back and just repeating some of the missions again.
Does your fucking save carry over? Does it?
It does.
It does. Yeah, you said that.
Fucking does.
Is it day one for you then, Sean?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Is it coming to Game Pass day one or not?
I've no idea. I don't think so. But it's got full crossplay, so you can play it on your good console, James.
That's true.
I think that's probably enough about Outriders. I've also played, because it came to Game Pass, Dirt 5.
I also downloaded this and have not played it, but this is a launch game for these consoles not too long ago, and now it's on Game Pass. So.
Well, this was it, yeah. Like because it was a game I'd considered getting when I got the Series S, thinking it would just be nice as a bit of a technical showcase.
Yeah, but it's only a technical showcase if you've got a TV that can do 120 frames per second, right? That's the
and a
thing
console that can do 4K.
Well, yeah, but I just mean in terms of the visuals and stuff. And it looks amazing. Like, it looks really nice. But I don't know. I mean, it's fine. It's good fun. I can't find any reason to play it over Forza Horizon 4 or even, Wreckfest, which came to Game Pass the other week. It's just an absolutely decent, functional, arcadey rally game, basically. And it is very arcadey, more so than I'm pretty sure, I think the last one I played was Dirt 3, and I was spinning off the track half the fucking time and using the reset button. None of that here. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just not grabbed me at all. I mean, check it out, because I'd be keen to hear if I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, by the sounds of it, that game was highlighted as a launch game for that console because the 120 frames per second is meant to be crazy on it. But
okay,
yeah, that's why I avoided it, because if that was the reason everyone was bleating about when it come out, it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, the Dirt games are always pretty good, but when you've got Forza Horizon on that console, that's the driving I'm going to be doing.
Yep. And like Isaac loved watching it because he loves driving games, and that, it was cool playing it with him and like painting the cars and stuff. But I can't name a single thing that's unique to it. Do you know what I mean?
Has it got Rallycross in it?
Has it got what?
Sorry,
has it got Rallycross?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
The one
where you don't know what Rallycross is, or you don't know if it's got it in the game.
A bit of both. No, it's Rallycross.
I think it's
Rallycross. I mean, as in go on, sorry.
The mode I'm thinking about is the one where I've seen where it's two cars and they're basically kind of racing at the same time around the track, but on like different parts of the same track.
Okay, so, I've not seen that. No.
Okay, cool. I was wondering if that's happening. Yeah.
That was like a staple in Dirt series, though, wasn't it? So I'd be surprised if that's not good. But yeah, like was that dirt or gravel? I can't remember. Do you remember Gravel?
Gravel?
Is
that real?
Yeah, that was a real game. They bought a game called Gravel. Have you tried Isaac with Burnout Paradise yet?
Oh god, yeah, he loves it.
Oh god, yeah, that's the one.
So that's the thing. Crazy. Yeah, so if I just wanted to put a racing game on for Isaac's sake, it'd probably be that.
Yep, just the crashes.
Yeah, and because it's open world, I can just give him the controller if he wants to just repeatedly drive into a wall or whatever.
That was the other thing with Charlie.
Yeah.
Every crash, belly laughing at the twisted metal. Evil. Okay,
Sean, have you
else?
played much Wreckfest? Because that's another one I installed after playing Destruction All Stars and then seeing that on Game Pass. I'm like, oh, okay, an actual Destruction Derby type game. I'll install this.
I've played a little bit of it. I was going to play more before talking about it, but basically, the very first event you do in it is just everyone on sit-on mowers crashing into each other, and it's the hardest I've laughed in a while.
Okay,
It was fucking great. So yeah, definitely check out Wreckfest. The only thing with Wreckfest is it's not been optimized for the series. It's still like locked 30 frames and what have you. But I mean, you'd soon get used to it, and it seems really good. So
I will try that.
Good.
I will try that game.
Good.
Cool. Anything else, Sean?
No.
Matt Muddy.
No, I'm still making my way slowly through 3D.
Making my way through 3D world and what are you getting on with that? Where are you up to?
I'm on like the I'm only on the one after 6, which is like the castle world,
7?
whatever it is. Well, no, it's
7?
not called that. It's not called World 7.
The one with Bowser's face.
Yeah, it's World Castle. I'm on that.
Yeah,
one.
no,
And,
Harry's on that. Harry's on that already. He's caught you up.
Yeah,
he's
I haven't
been
played
hammering
it much.
That's a good game. Okay, James.
I've got a couple of things, but I'll keep them reasonably brief because I don't think anyone's very interested. I've got Yakuza 4.
And because you want to go to bed.
Well, yeah, there is that too.
Also, I can see Sea of Thieves down next to his name.
Exactly, that's the problem. Also, I mean, I finished Yakuza 4 over the weekend, which again, I will keep brief because, I mean, overall, as always, I had a good time with it, but it's probably my least favourite of the Yakuza games that I've played so far. I think because it's split between 4 different characters, and the big problem is I only really liked 3 of them, and one of them I really didn't like, and you spend quite a lot of time with that character. But then more of a problem is that I really, really hated the fighting style of this character, and I just couldn't get my head around how it was supposed to work, and I ended up just repeating the same move over and over again just to get through fights, and it was really unsatisfying and irritating. But the bigger problem I had with it is that one of the things that I love about this series, obviously, is all the side missions and that kind of thing. And the problem is that I felt that they were a lot less interesting this time round. And I think that's because you don't get to spend as much time. Like, one of the things that's really, really good in the previous games is that you play mostly as one character, you inhabit that character, and then you sort of the side stories sort of develop over time, and you get like recurring characters and stuff like that. Whereas with this, there are recurring characters, but because you don't spend so much time with each one, you don't really feel there's much of a payoff, really, I felt, for most of them, which was kind of a bit of a shame. And I mean, still, it's generally good, but just I didn't think as good as earlier entries. But I'm looking forward to 5 because apparently it's very good. It's supposed to be one of the best ones that they've ever done, so I'm looking forward to that. But then also I've got Like a Dragon turning up this week, the PS5 version. So I think I may just go straight into that.
Sorry, I just heard that as I've got a dragon turning up. Whoa.
That would be cool, but yeah, that's not happening. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
Wouldn't.
It would. Why not?
Fucking burning up your curtains and stuff.
That's true, yeah. Although, I don't know.
When did the PS5 version of Like a Dragon come out? Was it last week?
No, it comes out today or tomorrow. It's
okay.
It's a really weird release actually, because it's not coming out on a Friday. It's like out on the 2nd of March or something like that. It's just a bit odd. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it because I mean, from all accounts, it's supposed to be excellent. It's just I'm still wary about the JRPG style of it, with the turn-based battles and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
After I finished that, I just thought I wanted to change of pace, something a bit different. So I played Tearaway Unfolded. Because Dave and you and Sean, you both talked about it and about it being
it's
good.
very good,
and it is very good. Did you play it on Vita or on PS4?
PS4.
Vita. I've got it on PS4, but I played it on Vita. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I enjoyed this a lot more than any Little Big Planet game I've played.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's a lot more enjoyable. It really is. The only thing is, though, I felt that the PS4 version, the pacing is really off. Because I don't think I've ever played a game that felt like it was going to end so many times and then doesn't. And it happens repeatedly.
Oh, I didn't get to the end, so I didn't see that.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it happens over and over again to the point where at the end, like quite close to the end, they just say, "Oh, you can help somebody else finish their story." You know, like, and I was like, "No, I want to finish mine now. I really would like to finish mine because although I'm enjoying this is going on a bit." And I mean, I did some reading up around it, and it turns out that the reason is because when they shifted over to the PS4, they added like a lot of extra content. Obviously, as kind of like a value add, like to like as a reason to to go for it over the Vita version, and it padded it out, but none of the stuff that's from the PS4 version is as good as the original Vita one. And so it kind of ruins the pacing of the game, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah. But overall, it's still very good, though. Like
Does it use the PS5? Because you're playing on PS5, right?
Yeah.
Does the camera stuff work using the PS5 camera?
You have to use the PS4 camera. It's
what the fuck?
Because I had that connected. I still had that connected up anyway because of the PSVR stuff. So it still was working, like for me. But it is a bit weird.
Yeah, but why would they let you use the PS4?
I don't know. It's just weird Sony stuff, isn't it? They love doing that. Like everything is just sort of like walled off, and it's just very, very odd. But
bizarre.
But I still would really recommend it, though. I think it's very good. I mean, not to the extent where I'm going to go back and like 100% everything, but I had a nice time with it, and it was definitely a good change of pace.
Okay.
The only other thing I played is Sea of Thieves. And
yes.
I'm not going to go on about this for ages because
you should.
Well, no, I don't want to because
please don't.
It is good. I mean, I played it for 3 hours on Friday night with a group of people, and we had a good time
Sean,
with it.
Presumably.
So again, not Sean. No, not Sean.
I was busy.
We had a good time with it. The thing I would say.
Go on.
The thing I would say that I think is massively improved over that time when we first played it, when it first came out, is the onboarding is a lot better. Like they do make it pretty clear, like what you're supposed to do, and they give you they explain all like the core sort of skills that you need, like right from the beginning, pretty easily. And
I don't know, man. I mean, when we did play that, we knew what we were supposed to do. It was just not very fun to do. Like, I mean, the sailing was great and it looked great, but when you got to your destination, what you were actually doing was like, well, the combat's not very fun, and yeah, okay, I put the chest on the boat and I take it back, but then what? That was the problem I had with it.
They have added extra stuff now, like there's much more sort of mission variety that you can do.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But then also the fun of this is still that like working together on the ship. Like that's been the great thing with this. Like I don't want to start talking stories with this because I just don't want to do that. But I mean, there was a point where we were like, I was steering the ship, and if you're like on a galleon, you can't see like what's straight ahead of you. And then it became obvious that we were getting very close to the thing, and I just shouted, just like, "Drop the fucking anchor!" like repeatedly, and nobody did, and we still like just ran straight into like the dock. Which was terrible, and that was great. It's just stuff like that is really funny. But also just like realizing you can it's terrible, but messing around with other people that are in the world as well.
Oh no, not you as well.
Well, no, it was.
You're speaking to the hippie of the.
No, this person turned up on this ship, and it was a really nice looking ship. And they got off, to do to do their business or whatever on the island, and then
doing a poo.
Take the shit on the island.
Take the shovel.
One of the people
business to do.
One of the people I was playing with just thought it'd be funny to just go on this ship and release the anchor and just let it go, and it went.
No, you see, that's all right. That's a low level griefing because they could just go in the sea and find a mermaid and just teleport to wherever the ship is, unless it crashes into something, I guess.
Well,
in which
they
case
were
it'll
quite
sink.
Annoyed, and
were they?
What happened, which was quite bad, was as we had ran into the dock and were stuck, we suddenly realised that we couldn't get away anyway, and they started chucking fire at our ship and burned it down. And so that was fair enough.
That's what you get, mate. Yeah. That's what you get.
No, Dave, you'd be glad to hear I've started picking fights with people because
excellent
in the last couple of weeks, so they did a thing with Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Is it because the recent bonus podcast has raised up that level in you again? Is that it?
Yeah, it's awoken it.
Basically, for £7, you can get some really nice sales, and the money goes towards Great Ormond Street Hospital. And basically, my new rule is if you are not flying those sales, you're a dick, and I'm going to shoot at you. So that's how that operates now.
Why do you try and make it noble? Yeah, it was fun then. I thought, Sean's got some fire in his belly. No, he's
no, because I'm not just going to ruin other people's sessions for no reason. I want to do it because they failed to give money to a good cause.
Shame. The real story here, though, is, come on, Sean, you must be offended. I mean, how long have you been banging on about Sea of Thieves? Oh, we should play it. Yeah, we should get together. And then James has played it with other people.
You'll have noticed, Dave, I stopped asking you lot if you wanted to play it.
I know, but James went ahead and played it anyway. And then not with you. I mean, if I was you, mate, I'd be questioning that.
I had a group.
No, I mean, he's because I know James has got his Xbox Live group.
Oh, God, you guys make me feel fucking sick. Right,
what?
Why don't you
because we get along?
Yeah. What's the point anymore? I'm sort of falling out of love with the game, to be honest with you. I'm wondering what's the point anymore. Is that enough? Is that enough Sea of Thieves for everyone?
Yeah, that's all I've got about it. I'm going to go out and play it like this weekend, though.
I was going to, James, definitely start the Tall Tales. You'll absolutely love it.
Cool.
They're proper good.
Mm-hmm. James, definitely play with me.
I don't.
Definitely.
Okay, someone clip that. Someone clip that. Right. Should we get on to questions?
Yeah, can do. If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Liz Walker says, as Yakuza 0 was only $3.99 on the PlayStation Store recently, I thought I'd give it a whirl. The combat isn't great, but the story and dialogue is a lot of fun. I have only one question. How many erotic videos did James sit down and watch?
James?
That is between me and my trophy history.
Yep. Just check his trophies. Yeah. They're all there.
Yeah,
they're all there. He's watched them all.
Not all.
You saw everything.
I've just
James.
It's a completion, so to speak. Murray says, after 80 hours of Valhalla and having played most of the games in the Assassin's Creed franchise, it got me wondering, what is the point of the Animus subplot at this point? Does anybody care about those parts? For me, being pulled out of the game world to look at some computer files breaks the immersion. So far, Valhalla does less of this, and it got me thinking, do we need that element at all? Do you think the Assassin's games would be better off ditching it? I mean, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't realise they still did that.
I thought they'd stop that. I mean, with what I played of Valhalla, it didn't. I don't even remember that happening. But that's how.
Oh no, that definitely happens. Yeah, yeah. It's very few and far between, but there is a bit. I thought it was quite good in Valhalla. Obviously, I only had a couple of flashbacks because I didn't put 80 hours into it. But yeah, the two flashbacks that I did experience, they were kind of like. So the idea was. You weren't in some big offices like you usually are with Assassin's Creed. I say usually, I haven't played half of them, so I can't, whatever. They were in like some little lodge, just two people, and then you walk out and then you see an excavation site that was looking over the bones of the character that you're controlling. And I thought that was pretty neat.
That's better than you working in Ubisoft offices.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. Yeah. I mean, within the game and apparently in real life as well. So,
because the thing is, that was frustrating because that was like the perfect excuse to not have to delve into this shit anymore. Just to be like, oh well, a company in real life is just fucking mining all these memories now for game content or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, fine, just say that at the start, and it's like, yeah, on you go. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Don't then keep bringing me back to the office and making me hack people's computers.
Yeah, well,
this
was few and far between, and it was really short. And I think that's fine. Yeah. But obviously, you've played 80 hours. You play way more, and maybe that gets way more.
Yeah.
They're more of a pain in the arse, but yeah. Okay.
Cool. Lars Heatherdam says, Dear TCGS, would you let your dad cut your hair / give you a shave for slapheads, or give you a full body massage? All the best.
Oh, God, one of the two. Right, okay. No, it's easy then. That's easy. It'd be the first one. Cut my hair.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. My dad used to cut my hair. When I lived with him, it's just easier.
But I'd shave it off if he fucked it up, so it'd be fine. Do you know, I told you the story when my mum tried to cut my hair, and she got some clippers. She went, we'll save some money here. Got some clippers. And she said, how do you have your hair? And I was like, well, firstly, I've known you all my life. How do you not know how I have my hair?
Yeah, firstly, you're my mum.
Secondly, I just have it like short on the sides and top
Short
a little
back
bit
and
longer.
sides,
And I
yeah,
had at the time, I had it flicked up at the front. She was like, right, so you have a little bit at the front that you flick up. I was like, yeah. So she put her hand over the end of like the front of my hair and then just shaved the rest off.
like Ronaldo.
Yeah, like
old
Ronaldo. Exactly like old Ronaldo, like fat Ronaldo, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely embarrassing.
Wow.
So I was like, well, just shave that bit off now.
Shaved a lot off now.
Yeah, that's what I did in the end.
I mean, the full body massage, I just can't imagine my dad being any good at it.
I wouldn't
I
want
don't even want to think about it. It's the quality of it,
I
Sean.
wouldn't want to entertain the idea.
That's really
What if he
weird.
was really good at it? That's worse, isn't it? It's like, Dad, you're amazing at this.
Can we do that again?
Right,
fine,
spoiler, you don't have to fancy someone who's giving you a massage, Matt.
No, don't you? No, I hate massages anyway, and I can't. I can't imagine anything worse.
I mean, full body would be a bit much. Like if it was just like one of my shoulders was fucked or something.
How can you hate a massage? It's the best.
I'm with Matt on that. I absolutely
I
despise
told
them.
you. Yeah, but you used to get yours done with your t-shirt on like a weirdo.
It's just horrible. I don't like them.
I'd rather have one with a t-shirt on than my dad doing it.
Yeah, same here, but...
Yeah. So when I say hate massages, it's like if... I've never had a full body one, so maybe that's different.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want anyone giving me a full body one, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never had a full body massage, but
which is my own problem. That's me being weird, I think. But
don't have to fancy him, Sean.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bloody good point, David.
No, I don't need every bit of me getting interfered with in one session.
Yes, you do. That's the thing. You've got muscles everywhere.
That's true.
They don't touch the middle bum.
The middle bum.
Middle bum.
Yeah,
the middle bum.
I don't touch any of that.
Which bum is that?
The first massage I ever got, I was on holiday with Joe early on in our relationship, and I got like the hotel were, they had a spa and everything, so I signed up for a massage, and the bloke genuinely looked like scarily like Kevin Keegan, exactly the same hair, exactly the same face. If someone told me, do you know that's Kevin Keegan working here giving massages? I would believe it, right? Best massage I'd had. That was the best one I've ever had.
I would bloody love to give you a massage. I would bloody love that.
Yeah, I bloody love it. Explain it to him later. Right?
Yeah.
You'll laugh.
That's it, isn't it? James, you haven't actually answered.
Oh, God, sorry.
James hasn't actually answered, has he?
I think he's probably evaded that on purpose, I think.
No, I said right from the beginning, it's got to be the haircut, isn't it? I mean...
I thought you were going to say both, if possible.
Can I have both?
All in one session. Shave, haircut, full body massage.
Bit of
just avoid the middle bum.
Can we not say middle bum?
Middle bum. Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS Cobras, James's demonstration last week of how Metacritic creates internet bandwagons reminded me of my gaming life before I had access to the internet. It cast my mind to a time when only gaming magazines and playground chatter helped me make half-informed decisions about the games I should play. Yeah. If, during your younger days, you had the amount of information currently at your disposal, which embarrassing gaming purchase would you have been spared? I can only think about my cousin having a happier 8th birthday had he not received a copy of Karnov on the NES, the platformer about the mustachioed shirtless man that got great reviews, instead of going with Super Dodgeball, which we all told him to choose.
Oh, no.
This is easy for me, although it is the purchase, so I'm cheating a little bit. But, I mean, it felt like it's purchased because we only ever rented a game from Blockbuster once a year. Like, it wasn't a regular occurrence. Yeah. It was a special thing. Oh, I'm renting a game from Blockbuster. And I was with a friend, and we went up to the thing. It was a Mega Drive game. And my friend's dad was like, oh, I've heard about this game. Oh, it's meant to be brilliant. Rise of the Robots. Oh, it's meant to be fantastic. So that's the game we rented, and literally, like, again, I was of the age where you kind of just think everything's great. Like, you've never got, your critical eye isn't really there. But within 5 minutes of playing it, we were like, this is dog shit. This is awful. Where's my character select screen? Oh, there isn't one. Fucking great. I've got to be
didn't
this
want
one.
Next.
Awful game that was.
See, I think for me, it's not so much about the purchases I would not have made. It's the trips to the fucking shops that I didn't need to make because you had no way of knowing if games had been delayed.
Yeah,
Like,
or
the amount of times-
if they were in stock. Or
Yeah. Be like, oh, well,
But then I do
magazine
miss-
says it's out on this day, so I guess I'll just head in, I'll get the train into Manchester. And then the guy in the shop's just like, oh, no, it's not it. I don't know, what's not here? And then in the next month of, whatever magazine you read, it's like, oh, yeah, it's not coming out for another 6 months now. Great.
I do miss the times of having some money in your pocket, even if it's a sort of 20 quid or whatever, and going to the shop and not knowing what you're coming out with.
God, yeah.
That they were great. You go in there and then just rifle through the games. Go, what the fuck is this? This looks good.
PS2 era was the best for that.
It was really good for that, wasn't it? Like, you go through the racks of just like, and it's like, that looks interesting. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
And it was good.
Flicking through racks
and
of
often
games,
they were
man.
shite, but it was just fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
The last
this is
time
why,
I had that feeling was when Game almost went bust and they sold all their games for about 98p.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Everyone was turning up there for about a week and just going through it, and that gave me that little bit of
there was a
nostalgia.
secret Santa thing on at work, and I got a guy a copy of Bikini Samurai Squad, which he did
Nice.
not appreciate opening in front of all our colleagues.
Shame.
I thought it was funny.
Be proud. Be proud of your game.
Great game.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I go to CX, just to feel something, just like good old days. Like, well, what's here? What could I'm not going to buy it. But
Yeah, but
what is
it's
What
here?
are you looking for today, sir? Just anything I haven't fucking seen before.
Yeah, give me something new.
It's not the same though, because you know every single game on that shelf, and
I
you
know.
also think I could get this cheaper if I bought it from CD Keys or something.
Yeah,
or
but sometimes I
Amazon.
pretend, and then I just buy elsewhere.
Just go to all the sort of yellowing Wii games that they've got in there. There'll be loads of things that you have no idea what that is.
It's true.
Yellowing Wii games.
Like, Carnival Games 8.
Yeah.
They made 8 of these.
Buy this, sir. Back this up
Come on.
immediately.
Matt, what's your answer to this?
I couldn't think of an answer. That's why I
Excellent.
tried to derail with a CX.
Yeah, just play.
James.
It's like jazz, just like playing around the
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
theme. Yeah.
James, you've got to have an answer.
Donkey Kong 64, because it was
Oh, yeah,
rubbish.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
But you got the
That's so
expansion
bad,
pack, though, right?
That was how I justified it in my head. Was like,
Yeah, I
it's
never
like-
owned one of those. I was
Yeah.
always gutted. Never owned one of those. That's why I'd never played Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
God,
I've
yeah,
got that.
shocking
Just thought,
that, wasn't it?
This is for Perfect Dark. That's why I bought this. Really, that's the reason. And Perfect Dark wasn't great either, and because of the frame rate and all that.
Perfect Dark was good, wasn't it? Everyone raved
It was
about
alright.
that.
It's another one of those games that I think. I mean, the biggest problem was the frame rate issues with it. Even if you played it with that pack in, it was still not very good on the N64. It was
Yeah,
pushing
but
it
so
too
was
hard.
GoldenEye. GoldenEye was a fucking frame dropping mess.
I think
People forget
Perfect
that.
Dark was worse. I think Perfect Dark was
Was it?
worse. Yeah, I really think it was.
Okay.
Well, there you
I
go.
was just thinking, I mean, obviously it can't happen to us because we're doing this podcast, but if someone listened to this thinking, yeah, it is rubbish that you know everything these days, just okay, I'm going to, delete Twitter, not go on the internet, and then just only go into town once a month and see what's in game. You're like, oh, this is new.
But then
That's
you'd miss
one way
out
to
on
get
all
done,
like downloadable indie stuff, wouldn't you? Well, I mean, you just go on the store, I guess, but then that's
Yeah, I suppose
Is that
that is
ruining
kind of
the-
the equivalent now, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
what's on some random stuff on Steam, but
The game where I live is now closed and has now moved into Sports Direct. Elsewhere.
yeah. I think ours is.
what? Games in Sports Direct.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Is that a thing now?
It is a
We
thing.
talked
Yeah.
about
Of course it
ages
is. Yeah,
ago.
they announced
There's
that a while
thing,
ago,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I knew like it was they bought in stuff, but I didn't realise there was game concessions within Sports Direct stores.
They announced they were going to do that a while back.
Wow,
It's the
I mean, I
first
haven't
I've
been
heard
to
of it,
shops
though.
for obviously a long time, but wow,
God, that's
depressing.
It is,
that's
yeah.
yeah. No, are people going to get laughed at? You've got all these sports people that are buying like running trainers or whatever, and tennis rackets and that, and then you just say, "Excuse me, I'm trying to get to the."
I mean,
there's
the
Animal Crossing coded, which
the staff definitely.
I think that's rather unkind. Some of us are ripped, that are doing that sort of thing.
Yeah,
name them.
some of us.
Name them, James.
Okay, well, not me, but
I mean, not,
The good thing is
Not
that
any of
both
us.
those audiences will still love a tea mug that has like a pint of tea.
yeah.
or like a massive Lonsdale
You
bag
will,
for life.
that's the Venn diagram, isn't it? That in the centre.
That's fine. The Venn diagram hits both of those types of people. It's fine.
I hope they start doing cross stuff like why, like that Bill's independent game shops. It's like,
like that famous retailer.
From Mario, deep cut. Mario 3D World, you'll get some squash balls for free as a free gift.
A packet of socks.
I mean, to be fair,
slazzing your socks.
I was looking at Zavvi the other day because there's a big sale on Mario Golf. And I've got
Mario
Isaac.
Golf.
Yeah, that's the next game. It's not. It's free.
It's like Mario Golf, but it's slightly worse.
Yeah. I got Isaac some tat. But yeah, there's a phone case with a picture of Mario running, and underneath it says, "It's a me, cardio."
I love it.
It's a real thing.
That's great.
You can
Do you
buy.
reckon
So there you go.
Shigeru Miyamoto signed off on that?
Absolutely. He's like, this will do well in
Yeah,
Sports Direct.
Almost definitely. Yeah, that's a good tip actually for parents out there. If your kids are into Mario, Sports Direct, they do loads of cheap Mario t-shirts and shit.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, God, yeah. Yeah, it's worth popping in there when you're able
Noted.
to.
Yeah.
And
And then the staff will look at me and go, yeah, he's here for the game stuff. Right, last question. Bantu Braystar says, can James do any regional accents?
Oh, thank you for this. This is brilliant.
I can't do any regional accents.
No,
and I
you,
wouldn't even
you can try though.
I can't. No, I'm not offending a load of people. There's no way I'm doing
It's not
that.
offensive. It's not offensive.
I mean, it might
it's
be.
offensive.
Why?
It's not right. You shouldn't do it. I don't like it.
You shouldn't do regional accents.
No, it's just I don't know. I don't. Oh, you're the king of it anyway. I mean, come on, you do Sean really well.
The king of what? I do Sean very well.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Bell. Who wants to hear about Sea of Thieves again? I'm Sean Bell. I don't like it when it's popular.
You can do the impression yet, Dave.
That is the impression. I'll leave off. Classic. Come on, James. Come on, do one.
No, I'm not
you
doing
get
it.
to pick the
I
region.
can't do any. I don't know.
Do a Cockney accent. No one cares if you diss on the Cockneys.
I don't even know how that would go. I've no idea.
Well, just make it up on the spot.
Yeah, come on, just give it a go.
I don't know.
Pretend you're on the set of EastEnders.
Yeah. Or you've got your first voice acting gig.
Yeah, you got your voice acting gig. Right, this guy's from Central London.
Yeah.
No, it's from the East End.
You've been cast as the lead in The Getaway 2.
Yeah, go on.
Give me a line. Give me a line, and then I'll.
Okay, right. Say, listen, mate, I will see you down the pub at 10:30, and I'll tell you about the mission then.
All right,
That's quite long.
Listen, mate, I'll see you down the pub at the 10:30. We'll talk about mission then.
That's not bad. I mean,
Actually, well, that
bit
wasn't bad.
quick, bit weird,
Yeah,
but
very
it's
rushed.
okay.
Rushed.
It's okay. Now Birmingham,
No, I'm not doing
same
that.
line, same line.
I'm not doing that.
Listen, mate.
Listen, what?
Get down in the pub at half
Just
10.
get straight to it.
I'll see you down there at 10:30. I don't.
Yeah.
That was almost. That was a bit.
That's all right.
Scouse almost. It was a bit. It was a bit John Lennon.
Right, AJ.
It's good though.
I'm not doing anymore.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. All
I
right.
think we got our money's
Right.
worth.
Okay, Matt. Do you want to do the socials?
Yes, Thursday, Sean, he's streaming.
I promise I'm gonna do my fucking best. It's been a couple of weeks off now, partly because of Isaac's fault, and then I wouldn't have done it last week because obviously the PlayStation thing was on. I wasn't exactly going to bump that for Animal Detective games, was I? But yes, theoretically, I will be streaming this Thursday.
Nice. That's this Thursday, twitch.tv/TCGSco, all creatures great and Sean at 9 o'clock. On Friday, James is streaming Hitman 3.
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah, that's still
Yep.
happening. Yeah.
Still loving that.
Yeah, it's
Hitman
still
3
really
this Friday night at 9. And
Did
then
you
on
finish
Twitch.
that mission in the end? I didn't see the end of the stream.
Yeah, I finished it. Yeah.
Oh,
I finished
God,
it,
it's
boy.
so good. I need to watch you finishing that because that is. I love that mission. It's the first time James had to go. Oh, I can't just rush in and kill anyone. Kill everyone because there's about 40 billion characters in that fucking level.
I still did a pretty
it's
good
not
job of it though,
simple.
and
Yes, you did.
I got 0 as well for my score, which people said they didn't know was possible.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I still completed the mission. So
So what?
Todd
You just got
must have
so
done
many
is
minus
nothing.
things.
he wasn't
that it
happy.
just-
He was really
Wow.
not happy.
Oh, the next one's great as well. The next one is easily not my favourite, but it's easily the funniest. Like it's very, very funny, or at least the story missions I followed. It led to some really funny moments.
Looking forward to it.
Nice. Saturday, David, anything, or is that just a...
Well, I don't know if it's going to be Saturdays, but I think I've settled on the idea that I'm going to do Perfect Dark Zero as my next.
Yes,
excellent.
Well, I did Fall Guys last Saturday, and it was really good fun. Like, I didn't mention it in what you've been playing, but Fall Guys is still excellent fun. Really enjoyed it. But everyone in the stream was like, yeah, do Perfect Dark Zero. So I think I might do that. It's going to send me mad,
wonderful.
but that'd be worth doing, I think. I've just got to make sure I get my Xbox back in time.
So
that'll be my next streaming series, I think. Details to follow.
Well, that might not be Saturday, but it'll be sometime soon. They were on Twitch, as I mentioned. If you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime Gaming. With that, you get one free sub every single month. Please go over to our channel and give us your free sub. We really appreciate it. If you miss the streams live, you can search for TCGS on YouTube, and they're all up there to watch James's old Hitman streams and David's Fall Guys streams and all the other ones that Sean does as well. All Creatures Great and Sean, it's all on there. Patreon, on patreon.com/TCGS, you get a bonus monthly podcast you can't get anywhere else. And live talks over cuisining is what we've done this month. It's all on there. And the website is tcgs.co for the store to get t-shirts and merch and all the other bits.
What, you just stop now? You don't say and such and such.
God,
for everything else.
Trouble,
that's what you usually do. No, Matt's just given up.
I thought I'd done something. Or hadn't said something when I was supposed to.
All right, James, calm down. We will catch you next week. We hope you have as good a week as you possibly can. The kids are going back on Monday. Fucking yes!
I know. God, it's going to be unbelievable.
I know, it's going to be so good. I will catch you all soon. Keep safe. Thanks for living it. Goodbye. Love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.